The scene opens in Café Velour at 11:37 p.m. Junkie, a strikingly handsome young man with dirty blonde hair, is gripping his head in sheer anxiety. Junkie. I'm so nervous. Sitting across from him is his plain-looking, dark-haired friend, who is casually sipping an iced drink through a green straw. The friend sees right through Junkie's anxiety. He recognizes that Junkie is the kind of guy who is, literally a content just by breathing, and that any social interaction, it'll be over even if you just stay still. Junkie ruffles his hair in a panic, asking, seriously? How do I look? Am I okay? The friend internally rolls his eyes. Don't be so dramatic. Wow, this guy, he looks even more handsome with his hair ruffled. Why does he have so many worries? The friend assumes Junkie is just fishing for compliments. He knows that if a guy like Junkie says, I'm not that handsome, people will just line up to tell him exactly what makes him attractive. He determines his own role for the evening. I guess all I have to do is act like a clown and liven up the mood before I leave. Right on cue, the girl Junkie has been waiting for arrives at the table. It's Lee Jiwoo, a stunning girl with vibrant pink hair. Lee Jiwoo, your friend came too. Junkie, blushing, oh, you came. The friend is instantly stunned by her appearance. I couldn't believe it when Junkie said he liked someone, but I immediately understood. She's prettier than most idols. To survive being wedged between two incredibly attractive people, the friend deploys his go-to social defense mechanism, treating them exactly the same as everyone else, as if he doesn't even recognize their beauty. He politely bows over his drink. Oh, I've heard a lot about you. He reasons that by doing this, beautiful people will lower their guard, thinking he's ugly but has a good personality. Even so, he can feel the judging glares from the rest of the cafe. He imagines them thinking, what is that loser doing wedged between a handsome guy and a pretty girl? Instead of cowering, which would only attract pity, he decides to grit his teeth, play it cool, and ignore the stares. Jiwoo tries to break the ice with Junkie. Lee Jiwoo, do you like surfing? Junkie, yeah, how did you know? Lee Jiwoo, oh, well, your profile picture. When I was scrolling through your messenger profile pictures, I saw a photo of you surfing. Junkie, I've tried it a few times too. But I'm not that good at it, Seeing Junkie hesitate, the friend realizes it's his cue to chime in and liven things up. Hey, if you're not good at it, what does that make us who went with you? Lee Jiwoo, laughing, you went surfing with your friends? Friend, yeah, pretty much. We were on the level of walruses surrounding a surfer. Lee Jiwoo, what's that? The friend leans into the self-deprecation, choosing to be the first to belittle his own appearance so others can comfortably laugh along. Friend, no, we rented wetsuits to go surfing, right? He was the first to come out in one. He looked so cool, but when I put it on, I just looked like a walrus who had just come out of the water. You know what I mean, right? Jiwoo bursts out laughing. What? The entire table's mood brightens. By acting like he enjoys being the butt of the joke, the friend successfully projects a cool and fun image. Mission accomplished. He decides it's time to step back, stay on the sidelines, and give appropriate reactions, knowing that if he keeps pushing for laughs, he'll just look like an attention seeker who's overstepping his bounds. Internally, he drains his glass and thinks, I just want to go home already. At 11:41 p.m., the trio steps outside of Café Velour. Lee Jiwoo, which way are you guys going? Junkie, friend, I'm taking the subway. Get home safely. The friend splits from the group, leaving the two attractive leads together. Later, back at home in bed, the friend is staring blankly at his phone screen. At 11:42 p.m., a notification pops up. It's a direct message from Lee Jiwoo featuring her idol-like profile picture. Lee Jiwoo, did you get home safely? The friend thinks, what is this? Is he just managing his image because I look close with Junkie? He decides to match her polite energy and types out a text. Friend, yeah, you did too, right? Lee Jiwoo, yeah, today was fun lol. Lee Jiwoo, let's meet again. It feels like I didn't get to talk to you properly today. The friend is stunned. He looks at his phone and tells himself, I wasn't unable to do it, I just chose not to. He brushes it off as her being polite, assuming she just wants to get closer to Junkie through him. He tries to wrap up the conversation cleanly at 21:14, phone chat log time. Friend, is that so haha? Anyway, good night. Usually, sending a good night text signals the definitive end of a chat. But a second later, Jiwoo responds again. Lee Jiwoo, going to sleep right away. The friend sits up in the dark, his eyes wide in disbelief. Does she have something to say? Usually, when you say good night and even send an emoji, the conversation is over. Confused, he types back, friend, why, do you have something to tell Junkie? Lee Jiwoo, no haha, I sent a message because I wanted to talk to you, though. By 11:43 p.m., the friend's mind is completely racing. He stares at the glowing screen in total shock. Why is she saying something like this? Does she want me to get my hopes up? If I do, then what's next? Even though you don't like me, you just think it's fun to create a situation where I like you. He bitterly asks himself, do you want to feel what it's like to be Esmeralda, receiving the devoted affection of an ugly Quasimodo? Pretty and handsome people don't know that my affection can make others feel uncomfortable. If I expect kindness, I'll only end up being miserable. He typed quickly, oh, okay, haha, I have to go to sleep now, bye bye. Staring out into the darkness of his room with wide, anxious eyes, his internal thoughts reveal his desperation to shield his feelings. Before I become miserable, I need to run away. Next day, Lee Jiwoo, did you get to school? He thinks, she won't be sad if I don't reply, right? Since she probably has more than enough people to contact. She comes behind and they meet. The protagonist is walking down the school hallway when Lee Jiwoo approaches him from behind. As they meet, his internal monologue reveals deep insecurity and suspicion. Looking at her, he thinks to himself, she's cute, but the last time I saw her with Junkie, she wasn't greeting people so cheerfully. It must have been an act, right? She's probably appealing that side of himself to passersby. Lee Jiwoo confronts him directly, asking, why didn't you reply? Caught completely off guard, he stammers. What? Internally panicking because this is a situation that isn't in my data. Jiwoo presses further, pointing out, you just came out of the classroom looking at your phone. But why didn't you reply to my message? The protagonist's defensive mechanisms immediately kick in, assuming the worst of her intentions. He harshly judges her in his mind. What the? She's more malicious than I thought. A malicious person who enjoys seeing an ugly person be humiliated. Trying to shift the conversation, she asks, so, where are you going now? When he responds that he is going to eat at the student cafeteria, Jiwoo enthusiastically brightens up. Oh, really? Let's eat together. This makes him incredibly uncomfortable. He feels that if a pretty person like Jiwoo hangs out with an ugly person like him, it will only draw unwanted attention, thinking, you must know what people are whispering. To avoid her, he lies and claims, I have someone to eat with. Jiwoo looks skeptical and lets out a while. He wonders, really? Does she enjoy things like this, or? Suddenly, Jiwoo drops a truth bomb. Junkie told me that you eat alone on Mondays. Shocked at being caught in a lie, he freezes, thinking, what is this? What situation is this now? Before things can escalate, Seong Junkie arrives, tapping Jiwoo on the shoulder and asking, what are you doing, Lee Jiwoo? The protagonist feels intense pressure, noting that Junkie is glaring at me as if I'm hitting on Jiwoo. Jiwoo casually defends the interaction, stating, I'm talking to my friend. Junkie turns to her and asks, oh, really? Have you had lunch? Sensing his cue to leave, the protagonist bows out, since the handsome prince has arrived, I'll be on my way now. Junkie swiftly dismisses him with a simple, yeah. Jiwoo bids him a reluctant farewell. Oh, okay, then let's eat together next time. Yeah, bye. As he walks away, the protagonist looks back in confusion, thinking, what? Meanwhile, Junkie tries to transition to lunch with Jiwoo, asking, so, who are you eating with? Can I join in too? As the protagonist reflects on the interaction, his deep-seated issues with self-worth come to the surface. He reasons that someone like Jiwoo has, probably not, ever been rejected when suggesting eating with someone. He reflects bitterly on his own position. When people like you are even a little bit kind, I unknowingly get my hopes up. But if an ugly person like me likes a pretty person, and other people find out, the situation will get even more terrible. So a person like me shouldn't get my hopes up or like someone, of course, I can't. It's something I shouldn't do. The timeline shifts to an English club meeting. Jiwoo addresses Junkie, asking, Junkie, were you in the English club too? Junkie, blushing slightly, answers, I joined this semester. A flashback reveals that the protagonist was actually the orchestrator behind this. Knowing Junkie's crush on Jiwoo, the protagonist had texted Junkie, you should join the English club. When Junkie replied, that's super boring club. The protagonist sent the ultimate bait, Lee Jiwoo is joining this semester. This prompted Junkie to immediately sign up. Looking at the two of them, sitting together across the club table, the protagonist feels a sense of relief, thinking, yeah, this is so much better to see. This is the right picture. Everything falling into place is so comforting. To him, seeing the pretty people together brings a sense of predictable, safe order to his social world. After the club meeting concludes, Junkie tries to coordinate plans with Jiwoo. Loudly enough so she can hear, he announces, after the club meeting, I should go to a cafe and do some assignments. Recognizing the tactic, the protagonist decides to clear out and give them space. Okay, I should go to a PC cafe. To his absolute bewilderment, Jiwoo chimes in brightly, huh, me too. Junkie, assuming she is responding to him, suggests, there's a new cafe by the back gate. Should we go there? The protagonist starts planning his solo gaming session in his head, wondering, what should I do there? A ranked match, maybe I'll play that farming game I bought on Steam. In single player mode, but Jiwoo completely bypasses Junkie and corrects the situation, looking directly at the protagonist, no. I meant I'm going to a PC cafe too. The protagonist freezes in utter disbelief as Jiwoo smiles warmly at him. The sequence ends with his bewildered, sweat-dropping realization. What is it with this girl? She wants to go to a PC cafe with me. Neural sits stiffly at a desk, his eyes darting towards Seong Junkie, who is sitting nearby. Junkie is smiling, but it looks incredibly strained. Neural, Junkie's expression, he's smiling, but it's not a real smile. It's an angry face. It must hurt his pride to feel like he's losing to a loser like me, but he can't show what he really thinks of me, so he's forcing himself to smile with everything he's got. Neural shifts his gaze to Lee Jiwoo, who leans back in her chair with a sly smirk. Neural, whatever she's plotting, it feels like she's toying with two guys at once. Junkie, to Jiwoo, fishing for answers. You said you didn't know how to play any games. Jiwoo, resting her chin on her hand, smiling. Me, that's not true. Neural nervously clutches his backpack strap, breaking out into a cold sweat. Neural, if I play along and things get awkward between Junkie and me, I'll be the one left out in the cold, trying to break the tension. So what are you going to do at the PC bang? Jiwoo, turning to Junkie, me, card racer. Then you two can play together. You play sometimes too. Defensive, looking away, what are you talking about? I don't play. Neural, why is he pathetically going along with whatever Jiwoo wants? She's probably doing this to imply there's no need to be wary of a guy like you. What are two guys even doing, getting caught up over a pretty girl? Neural, sighs, rubbing his neck. Do whatever you want, then. Int. PC bang, gaming cafe, later. The room is bathed in blue neon light. Neural and Jiwoo sit side by side in gaming chairs. Neural stares intently at his monitor. Jiwoo pouts angrily at hers. Jiwoo, hey. Are you mad? Neural, no. Jiwoo, tisk. Neural, was I too cold? No, come on. What did I even do to her? Not talking to her on the way to the PC bang. I've dealt with this kind of treatment my whole life, who's worrying about who? Jiwoo, cheering up instantly, turning to him. Let's play card racer. Neural, no, I'm doing my promotion match. Jiwoo, whining, pulling closer to him. Why didn't you hear what Junkie said earlier? Neural, Junkie, he didn't look happy earlier. But I'm safer for Jiwoo to be around compared to any other guy. Jiwoo aggressively nudges her elbow into Newell's arm, staring him down. Jiwoo, emphasizing every word, cart. Racer, Neural, sighs in defeat. Fine, but just one game. If I don't, she'll keep this up. I'll play exactly one round and be done with it. The words, Razy Racing Card Racer, flash on the screen. Cut to the end of the race, Newell's screen shows a dismal ranking. Jiwoo, leaning over, laughing at him. Seriously, you're really bad. Do you even like Card Racer? How are you dead last? Let's do one more round. Neural, smirking, rubbing his nose. No. Jiwoo, clasping her hands together like a begging anime cat. I'm just so salty about it. Neural, with skills like that, there's nothing to be salty about. Jiwoo, gritting her teeth, intensely hammering the keyboard. Damn, Neural, should I give her one more round, for now? Neural glances at her screen and freezes. Jiwoo's in-game avatar is aggressively T-boning another player. Neural, your skills are seriously, what the, you just rammed into someone else's cart. Jiwoo, with a dark, chaotic look in her eyes. Let's go down together. Neural, throwing his hands up. Wow, what a personality. You're a total nutcase. Jiwoo bursts into bright, genuine laughter. Ha ha ha. Neural catches himself letting out a soft chuckle. Streets near college, sunset. Neural walks alone down a brick-paved sidewalk under a warm orange sky. Neural, feels like we played Card Racer for 3 hours straight. Jiwoo's pretty, sure, but the way she acts is like some country bumpkin. No, that's not fair. Yeah, I guess it was. Neural stops in his tracks. Freeze, he looks down at his shoes. Neural, when was the last time I had this much fun? It's not like I usually have anything fun going on. I'm always on guard, always tense. I always have to think about how I look in other people's eyes. People like me never get to enjoy anything fully. He visualizes Jiwoo's laughing face. He grips his backpack strap tightly. Neural, I wonder what Jiwoo was feeling. She probably just had fun. She laughed it off and probably forgot all about it already. It feels like I'm the only one stuck on this. Buzz. Buzz. Newell's phone vibrates in his pocket. He pulls it out. The lock screen reads 1829. A text from Seong Junkie pops up. Junkie. Did you have fun? Junkie. I also remember Jiwoo saying she doesn't like games. Junkie. Could it be that Jiwoo? Junkie. Does she like you? Neural stares at the screen, his face darkening. Neural. He knows that's impossible. Is he doing this on purpose? To put me in my place. If I reply while being emotional, I might slip up. For now, I should just go home. Neural quickens his pace, stepping over a small ant on the pavement. Neural. In the past, when someone showed interest, I'd rationalize it and get closer. That odd sweetness of telling myself, we're just friends. But once I got drunk on that sweetness and let my feelings spill, it ended the way everyone expects. I won't fall for those breadcrumb temptations ever again. College lecture hall. Next day. The professor stands at the podium, packing up papers. Professor. That concludes today's lecture. Neural sits at his desk, staring blankly at his phone. Neural. Maybe Jiwoo. Ah, it's Hunsu. A text from Hunsu arrives. Hunsu. Cheongjuk at 7 tonight. You in? Neural types back instantly. Neural. Okay, Neural. Drinks are a must. Good for building an easygoing image. Buzz. A second notification banner slides down from the top of his screen. It's from Lee Jiwoo. Lee Jiwoo. You're coming to Cheongjuk tonight too, right? Hee. See you later. Neural stares at the screen, his eyes widening in pure shock as an image of a smiling, waving Jiwoo flashes in his mind. Neural. Out loud, completely bewildered. Neural. At drinking parties, everyone seems to be partying wildly, but actually there's invisible competition between tables. Han Neural walked through the bustling, dimly lit college bar, carrying his bag over his shoulder. He spotted his friend group, and Junkie smiled effortlessly, asking, "You're here?" Seeing how it's the same as usual, the PC bang incident with Jiwoo doesn't seem to bother them much. Girls are coming, Neural noted internally as a group of girls approached. Excuse me, it looks like your table isn't drinking much, so can we sit here? One of them asked. As expected, everyone's trying to get to Junkie's table. Wow, today, so many people really gathered. Neural squeezed past the crowd to sit down, but immediately realized he was trapped. Wait, this is a really hard spot to get to the bathroom from. It's like a fish farm, what the hell? Junkie, let's switch seats, Neural called out. Junkie just winked playfully, completely unbothered, and agreed, yeah, sure, okay. Bastard. It bothers me a bit, but, so anyway, let's focus on livening up the atmosphere for now. No, I really did that, Neural gestured wildly, making the table burst into polite laughter. So Han Neural. A loud voice suddenly cut through the ambient noise from across the room. Neural startled, asking, what? What is it? Jiwoo wants you to white knight for her. Neul's mind raced with sudden anxiety. Why is she doing this to me? Got it. Is she getting revenge because she felt ignored earlier? Rather than being called an ugly bastard, this situation is the absolute worst. White knight. Around him, the drunk crowd began chanting and jeering, anyone want to white knight? Looking for a white knight? Well, look at that beta male bastard, a male peer mocked from the background, while another added, what a creative twist. Junkie threw an arm around Neul's shoulder, smiling, ah, I believed in you. As expected, my best friend. Hey, when did I ever say I did? Neural defensively laughed it off, but Junkie and the crowd drowned him out, shouting, don't you remember? Anyway, you did. Keep drinking. Neural looked down at his phone, peeking across the room toward Lee Jiwoo's section. Why is Jiwoo making that expression? With a face that looks really hurt. Jiwoo, did she drink a lot? Is the alcohol getting to her? She seems different than usual, pretty and cute. Hoping to give them both an escape, he typed out a text. Lee Jiwoo, let's go by together. He stared at the screen, wondering, am I sobering up or getting more drunk? Hey, what are you doing? Hunsu suddenly snapped him out of his thoughts, dragging him back down. Why are you staring at your phone when no one's going to contact you anyway? Tell us more funny stories. Right, this kind of treatment is normal for me. Forcing a smile back onto his face, Neural asked, where did we leave off in the story? Outside the bar, late at night, the cold air hit the dispersing crowd. Text notifications popped up on phone screens reading, everyone get home safely, as people called out, oh everyone be careful going home. Standing alone by the curb, Neural sighed to himself, I should catch a taxi too. Hey, why are you acting like this toward me? Who walked up behind him, her arms crossed and her eyes narrowed in frustration. Turning around, exhausted, Neural replied, acting like what? You probably really don't know why you're asking. She challenged. Neural looked at her, his mind walling itself off behind his usual defense mechanism. you'll never understand the kind of effort an ugly person makes to live while protecting their own heart. You'll never understand that. Still, I think I did pretty well today. I maintained the best image that an ugly guy. The chilly night air hangs heavy in a narrow brick alleyway. Neural, a college student wearing a simple blue t-shirt and carrying a backpack slung over his shoulder, stands frozen. Leaning casually against a concrete pillar beneath a dim street lamp is a girl with sharp, short dark hair, dressed in a black crop top, denim shorts, and an unbuttoned black shirt. Her gaze is piercing. She breaks the silence with a devastatingly direct question. You like Jiwoo, don't you? Newell's heart skips a beat. His mind starts racing, desperately trying to construct a defense. One of the truly foolish things is, even when the lie is already caught, denying it anyway. He knows he's cornered, yet his survival instincts kick in. But there are lies you must deny, even knowing they'll see through it. Lies that must never be exposed. Trying to play dumb, Neural stammers, you mean, like, as a girl. The girl scoffs slightly, a knowing smirk playing on her lips. Yeah, as a girl. Neural panic calculates his next words. At times like this, if you act like you know nothing, and say something like, of course, she's just a good friend, it's obvious right away. At times like this, no, I have to fool even myself. He forces a casual, baffled smile. Why do you think that? Just, me, like Jiwoo. That makes no sense. Jiwoo fits better with Junkie. The girl looks at him, completely unfazed by his deflection. Really? The way you talk and act, that's how it looks, she counters smoothly. Neural tries to shrug it off, turning his head away to hide his rising anxiety. What made it look that way? Whatever. I'm not interested. Not interested, in Jiwoo. She presses, her fingers with deep blue nail polish tapping against her chin. Neural swallows hard. Words like that are bait. Spoken as if it's natural to like someone so pretty. He remembers how everyone views Jiwoo. She's that pretty, cute, kind, and has a good personality. It makes you think, so it's okay to like her. And gives you relief. Trying a different angle, Neural internalizes his thoughts and speaks aloud. Jiwoo, she is pretty. But thinking that way, it feels kind of like looking at a celebrity. I do think she's pretty, but I don't feel that kind of attraction. That doesn't mean I like her, right? The girl pauses, watching him closely before letting out a soft hum. Yeah. Say it that way, and they'll usually believe you. Neural freezes completely. A chill runs down his spine. Believe what? How much does On really know? Why go to such lengths to deny it? It's not like liking someone is a crime. Desperate to close the conversation, he adds, no, it's not that I'm denying it, I really don't like her, that's all. A taxi pulls up nearby, its headlights cutting through the darkness. The girl turns to leave, giving him a final wave. Get home safe. As Neural walks under the streetlights, his mind spirals into an anxious loop. What gave her the idea that I like Jiwoo? Was I too obvious? What would Jiwoo think if rumors spread? How should I respond? Why go to such lengths to deny it? It's not as if liking someone is a crime. Why wouldn't it be? Our values aren't equal. This feeling is always the problem. He tightly grips his backpack strap. Pretending not to like her while I do, there's a limit to that. So I must not truly like Jiwoo. The bright afternoon sun does little to ease Newell's internal conflict. He is sitting on the chair when Jiwoo approaches him. Hey, Junkie asked you to have lunch with him, Jiwoo says, looking up from her phone. Neural blinks. Junkie. Jiwoo nods. He says he's at the student center now. If you don't come, he'll eat alone, but if you do, he'll eat with you. Newell's eyes light up. Perfect. Inside, he is celebrating. I'll use this as an excuse to slip away naturally. He plays along smoothly, turning around to leave. That bastard Junkie really has no one but me. Guess I'd better go. Suddenly, a voice cuts through his escape plan. It's Lee Jiwoo. You haven't had lunch yet, right? Right. Then let's eat together, Jiwoo says, her eyes locked onto his. Neural stammers, pointing back toward the student center. But, Junkie. Jiwoo smiles mischievously, holding up her phone. Actually, the Junkie thing was a lie. He already ate earlier. She steps closer, tilting her head. You wouldn't choose to eat with Junkie over me, right? Newell's brain short-circuits. Why is Jiwoo acting like this? In this situation, how am I supposed to refuse? Before he can utter a single word of protest, Hansel leans in slightly, locking eyes with him, and delivers the final blow. Hey, you promised to eat with me. As she speaks, she playfully tilts her face and gives him a deliberate, unmistakable wink. Neural stands completely paralyzed, his face turning bright red as his inner thoughts scream in sheer panic. A heavy clatter of stainless steel chopsticks echoes against ceramic bowls. Hansel sits across from Neural. She takes a slow, methodical bite of her food. Her long hair frames a face that is effortlessly attractive, yet her expression is completely unreadable. Neural stares down at his soup bowl, sweating slightly. The air between them is suffocating. Hansel chewing casually. You pay. Neural blinks, his spoon hovering inches above his bowl. He looks up, his face twisted in a mixture of disbelief and quiet resentment. Neural, why should I? Hansel doesn't hesitate. She locks eyes with him, steady and deadpan. Hansel, I saved you, didn't I? Neural goes quiet. He looks away, gripping his spoon tighter. Neural, the more I talk to her, the more of a disadvantage I'll be at. So I should just drop it here, it's scary to have your feelings found out. Hansel leans back slightly, her sharp gaze cutting straight through his defensive walls. Hansel, what have you been talking about since last time? This pretty girl. Should I help you two get together? Newell's chest tightens. The words pierce his insecurities. In his mind, the reality around him shifts into a dark, distorted metaphor. He imagines himself stripped of his humanity, sitting under a harsh, isolating spotlight on an empty stage. Above him, a larger-than-life figure holds the strings. Neural, maybe she just needed some entertainment. For someone to put on a comedy so funny she'd howl with laughter. An ugly puppet. Back in reality, Neural stares at his bowl, his voice dropping into a low, defensive murmur. Neural, I'd rather you didn't. I don't really want to be a laughingstock. Hansel pauses, her chopsticks stopping in midair. Her expression softens, turning remarkably gentle, almost maternal. Hansel, I'm not trying to make you a laughingstock. Neural looks up, caught off guard by the sheer warmth in her eyes. He is paralyzed by it. Neural, her expression was so sincere, I almost believed her. It's dangerous to keep talking to her. Neural takes a deep breath, trying to regain some sense of control, forcing a self-deprecating smile. Neural, I don't want to make anyone feel bad, either. If I said I liked you, you'd feel bad too, right? Hansel, without a shred of hesitation. I wouldn't. Newell's eyes widen slightly. A flicker of hope sparks in his chest, only to be instantly crushed by his own cynicism. Neural, but you still wouldn't date me. Hansel looks down at her food, her tone flat and completely honest. Hansel, that's true. Neural lets out a hollow, bitter chuckle, sinking back into his chair. Neural, see. Hansel stops poking at her rice bowl. She looks up, her eyes flashing with a sudden, serious intensity. Hansel, but that's not because you're ugly. The words hang heavily in the air. Neural freezes, the raw truth of her statement cutting deeper than any insult ever could. Neural sits alone at a long desk, staring blankly at his laptop screen. The heavy silence of the restaurant still rings in his ears. Neural, why me? Why does this kind of thing keep happening? Is it because I'm ugly and stand out too much that I'm becoming a source of entertainment? Suddenly, a loud, cheerful voice shatters his spiral of self-hatred. Junkie slaps his hand down on the desk, leaning in with a wide grin. Junkie, Neural, what are you up to today? Let's go on a group date. 4-on-4. Sungji Women's University. Neural looks up, his eyes wide with a sudden, primal dread. Neural, a group date. Neural, a place premised on meeting as potential romantic partners, where you compete using your attractiveness as a weapon. There, the excuse of not being interested in someone romantically as a shield you can't use. Junkie watches Newell's panicked expression, totally oblivious. Junkie, whoa, damn, Sungji Women's University. Newell's mind races as he calculates the humiliation awaiting him. Neural, going to a battlefield without any weapons, I might just become a laughingstock, but... Neural, okay. If it's with girls from Sungji, I have to go. Junkie pumps his fist in victory. Neural turns back to his laptop, his inner thoughts turning incredibly calculated and dark. Neural, what if I play a completely different role? I knew it. Even the guys who suggested the group date don't see me as competition. It's probably an unspoken suggestion for me to come and be the clown. In that case, since I'm not going there to fight, I don't need to be scared, and I won't become a laughingstock. Neural nods to himself, closing his laptop with a definitive click. Neural, then let's pack up and leave together. Neural, of course, I could turn down the group date, but then I'd look like someone who's insecure about their appearance, and I absolutely hate the thought of becoming that kind of person. Neural walks alongside Junkie, preparing himself mentally for the upcoming battlefield. Suddenly, a sharp, confident voice cuts through the campus crowd. Hunsu, you don't want to go to the group date, do you? I'll treat you today. Neural and Junkie stop dead in their tracks. Hunsu stands there, looking entirely unfazed by the sudden tension. Before Junkie can even process what is happening, Hunsu steps forward, grabbing Neural firmly by the arm. Hunsu, oh, Hyunsu, sorry. Neural decided to have a drink with me today. Junkie stands there, completely bewildered, stuttering over his words. Junkie, what are you doing? Hunsu doesn't give him a second glance. She pulls Neural away from the group with an iron grip. Hunsu, hurry up and let's get out of here. Neural stumbles along beside her, his mind completely blown by her sudden intervention. He looks at her profile as they walk briskly away from the lecture halls. Neural. But hey, how did you know? Hunsu. Know what, Neural? That I didn't want to go to the group date. Are you a psychic or was it that obvious? Anyway, you saved me. Thanks. Hunsu suddenly stops walking. She turns around to face him, her expression shifting from casual confidence to a sharp, challenging gaze. Hunsu. Running away, Neural. Hunsu. I'm asking if you're running away. You promised you'd have a drink with me. Neural stares at her face. The flawless skin, the perfect features, it completely derails his train of thought. Neural. A pretty woman has the ability to lower a man's intelligence. Just how far does the power of a pretty face go? Hunsu steps closer, closing the distance between them, invading his personal space with absolute confidence. Hunsu, you were going to hang out with a girl anyway. Am I in a bad mood right now? Should I be? I should be. And since I'm pretty too, it's not like you're losing out. So hang out with me. Neural stands completely frozen, utterly powerless against the sheer gravity of a beautiful girl dictating his every move. The atmosphere is heavy with the scent of old wood and vintage charm. Neural looks around the quiet, dimly lit room, taking in the faded floral patterns on the carpet and the solitary arrangement of the tables. Hansel. This is a place I come to often. Neil. You can tell it's a pretty old place just by looking, it must be a really good restaurant. Hansel. No, I come here often because it's empty. She doesn't hesitate, raising her hand slightly to catch the attention of the owner in the back. Hansel. Sir, can we have 2 jjajangmyeon, 1 tangsuyuk, and a bottle of jaleong liquor, please? Neural shifts slightly in his chair, studying her face as she closes the dark menu folder. Neural. You like places with no people. Hansel. Yeah, aren't you the same? Neural. Our situations are different. Quote. He pauses, looking down at his hands, feeling the familiar weight of self-consciousness creeping up his neck. Hansel. I'm bothered by people's stares. It always feels like they're staring at me. I can't know for sure, of cow or say, but that's just how it feels. Neural. I'm sure the reason is different, but that's exactly how I feel. Neural. So you don't like people staring even if you're pretty? And here I thought, being stared at for my looks would feel good. The green bottle of jaleong liquor arrives, and she immediately pours 2 small porcelain cups. Hansel. How about a toast? Cheers. She knocks back the strong liquor with a sharp, practiced tilt of her head. Neural watches her quietly. Neul's thoughts. When a pretty girl does it, even something simple looks pretty. Hansel. What, am I pretty? Being pretty is the best. Right. More than any other genius-level talent, being pretty is the best. Neural. Yeah, must be nice to be overflowing with talent. Hansel. Of course it's great. You don't even have to work to cultivate this talent. It's something you're given from birth. Neural pours himself another drink, the alcohol beginning to warm his chest. Neural. I've always thought so too. That handsome guys and I are born with different premises. The amount of love an ugly child and a pretty child receive is different from a very young age. He glances at her, expecting the usual pushback he gets from people when discussing appearance. Hansel. But when you talk about this stuff, pretty girls get this displeased look on their faces, saying things like they don't care about looks, or that connecting with someone's heart is more important than their face. He stares at her in mild fascination. Neul's thoughts, but for some reason, Hansel is spilling it all out themselves. Hansel. It's all bullshit. Complete and utter bullshit. Neural. Hey, are you drunk? Hansel. No, I'm right, aren't I? Some bastard road who says he loves his girlfriend for her personality. Would he still love his girlfriend if she got fat and broke out in acne? Hansel. No, he absolutely wouldn't. Neural. Hey, how come a pretty girl like you thinks the same way I do? Hansel. That's just how it is. Neural chuckles, leaning back. Neural. Why on earth did a girl like this act so quiet and like the coldest person on earth at school? If the other kids knew she had a great personality like this, she'd become popular in an instant. Hansel. So, let's be close friends. The words hang in the air between them, striking a bittersweet chord in Neul's chest. Neul's thoughts. If Hansel had some huge flaw, those words, let's be close friends, would have felt a little more comfortable. Hansel. I don't have any friends. Play with me a bit. Neul's thoughts. There's a gap between us as big as a huge flaw, and as long as that gap exists, I know you and I aren't on the same level, but even so, to the point of having such a wish, I couldn't help but want to be close with you too. The scene shifts to the harsh, bright lights of the school hallway. Junkie approaches Neural, his expression unreadable but his tone laced with a subtle edge. Junkie. You been busy lately? Neural. Same as always. Junkie. Jiwoo was saying you haven't been hanging out with her lately. That you say no even when she asks to get a meal. She said she felt hurt. Neural. Hurt, Neural. You should have asked her to eat with you then. Junkie. She eats with me often, too. Junkie. How did you get close with Hansel? Even I haven't been able to talk to her. Since you two look so close, I think Jiwoo is getting jealous. Newell's grip tightens on his strap. Newell's thoughts. What is he trying to say? What does he want me to do about it? If he likes her, he should be the one to hang out with her. Neural. It just happened that way. Junkie. So you're not avoiding Jiwoo on purpose, right? Usually, girls get interested when you do that. Like, who is this guy, avoiding me? Neural. Are you saying I avoided Jiwoo on purpose to get her attention? Junkie. Because guys will do anything to get a girl's attention, myself included. Neural feels a wave of exhaustion wash over him. Newell's thoughts. I don't want to play these unnecessary mind games with Junkie anymore. Neural. You're overthinking it. Junkie. You like Jiwoo that much. What are you talking about? Neil. Hey, okay. Then today, I'll ask Jiwoo out for dinner. Neil pulls out his phone, his thumbs flying across the screen as he types a message directly to Lee Jiwoo. Neil. Wanna grab a drink tonight? Neil turns his phone screen toward Neural, a smug smile forming on his lips. Neil. If there's some misunderstanding with Jiwoo, you guys can sort it out, and I can call you over midway, right? And then I'll find a good time to leave. Sound good, Jiwoo? What's the occasion? I'd love to. The warm, low lighting of a traditional restaurant hums with a quiet energy. A bottle of soju sits on the table alongside a large, shared platter of noodles and stir-fried vegetables. Neural sits stiffly across from Lee Jiwoo. Jiwoo has striking pink hair, framed beautifully against the rustic backdrop. Neural sits hunched over his plate, meticulously moving his chopsticks. He looks away, unable to maintain direct eye contact. Jiwoo, stammering, caught off guard. I thought you. Neural, leaning forward slightly. Yeah, that's what you said. I heard it from Jongi. Why would you think something so ridiculous? Newell's hands tense around his chopsticks. He stares down into his small bowl. Jiwoo, why is it ridiculous? Does it make any sense for an ugly guy to hate a pretty girl? Neural, you've never done anything to make me hate you. Jiwoo, softening her voice, looking askance. Right, but I'm a little clueless, so sometimes I do things that people hate without even realizing it. Neural watches her pour a subtle portion of noodles into her side dish. The gap between them feels massive, yet agonizingly close. Neural, I don't hate you. Jiwoo pauses, her eyes widening slightly as she looks up at him. Jiwoo, oh, really? Neural, yeah, Neural, internal. My heart is starting to physically ache. Until Jongi gets here, like a robot, I won't feel anything. His thoughts trace a dangerous line. Will I be able to push Jiwoo away? Jiwoo smiles, the brief tension evaporating instantly as she aggressively stuffs a large mouthful of noodles into her cheeks. Neural, trying to break his own thoughts. Hey, but don't you eat? Jiwoo, chewing happily, caught off guard. I hate carrots. Neural, anyway, it's all mixed in the sauce, so all you can taste is the sauce. She points her chopsticks at him playfully, her mood turning whimsical. Jiwoo, I want to date a guy who likes the food I hate, and in return, he'd hate the things I like. I hope he hates dry meat. 'Cause I love dry meat. Then when we order a whole chicken, we can both eat happily. She tilts her head, looking at him with genuine curiosity. Jiwoo, do you like dry meat? Neural freezes. His eyes widen. Neural, I do like it. Jiwoo, pouting, laughing it off. Really? Nah, you're lying. Neural, why would I lie about something like this? Neural, internal, my head feels like it's spinning. If I think of it as a meaningless comment, I can hear it as being meaningless, but I don't know. For some reason, sometimes. Jiwoo, it feels like you're lying. Neural, internal, every single thing Jiwoo says sounds so significant, connecting it to some kind of possibility, I can't stop. Jiwoo suddenly pulls out her phone, flipping through photos with an enthusiastic grin. Jiwoo, Neural, what's your ideal? Neural, blinking, my ideal type. Jiwoo, shoving her phone screen toward him. How about this girl? She's really funny, too. Should I introduce you to her? Newell's expression goes entirely blank. The warmth in his chest turns to ice. Neural, internal, I feel my whole body stiffen, starting from the back of my neck. Jiwoo, flipping to another photo. Or what about her? She's really great, too. Neural, internal, why does my heart sink like this? Jiwoo, smiling brightly, oblivious to his pain. These girls are really great, so I'm trying to introduce you, so you get how highly I think of you, right? So don't avoid me from now on, okay? Neural lowers his gaze. The illusion shatters completely. She isn't dropping hints, she is trying to set him up with someone else to bridge the awkward distance. Neural, with a hollow, forced whisper. I get it. Yeah. Neural. Internal. I was getting my hopes up. Sincerely. So. Desperately. Jiwoo. Blinking, noticing his sudden drop in energy. Neural. Internal. That Jiwoo might like me. Have I ever once wished for Jonghi and Jiwoo to get together? No, not for a single moment. Is this pathetic feeling just part of my nature? Even with a 0% chance of being loved, the moment I see a pretty girl, in the end, this desire to be loved, I'm so hideous that I can't approach you and can only run away, but, please love me, even someone like me. Jiwoo, leaning in closer, her brow furrowing with genuine concern. Are you okay? You don't look so good. Neural. Internal. It's not that my expression is bad, it's just my face that's bad. You'd be shocked if you knew what I was just thinking. Because I was thinking that maybe, just maybe, you could like me. An agonizing silence stretches over the table. The vibrant atmosphere they shared just seconds ago evaporates entirely. Neural. Internal. Ah, the mood just suddenly dropped. Suddenly, Newell's phone vibrates, cutting through the heavy silence. He looks at the screen, his demeanor shifting to relief. Neural. Hold on a sec. Oh, Jonghi. Answering the call. What are you doing? Come out. My location is. Neural. Internal. Hurry up and make a troubled face, or a disgusted one. I guess I need to see that kind of expression. Otherwise, I can't seem to come back to my senses. The ambient hum of the restaurant does nothing to ease the growing tension at the table. Lee Jiwoo sits leaning her face against her hand, staring blankly down at her side dish. Her pink hair frames a face heavy with exhaustion. Across from her sits Jonghi, his brown hair neat, but his expression completely self-absorbed. Jiwoo's inner monologue drifts away from the restaurant noise. Guys in their early 20s are boring. Jonghi breaks the silence, entirely unaware of her boredom. He leans forward, a smug grin playing on his lips. Do you know what the professor said after seeing my report? He asks proudly. He praised it so much, oh, and among the freshman girls. Jiwoo doesn't answer, subtly turning her chopsticks over a small plate. She knows exactly where this is going. It seems like the only thing on their minds is bragging about themselves. Jonghi, there's a rumor going around that I'm handsome. Jonghi continues, resting his chin on his hand, looking out the window with faux modesty. I wonder why a rumor like that started. Jiwoo sighs mentally, poking at her food with her chopsticks. No matter what I say, he ultimately steers the conversation back to bragging about himself. Jiwoo's mind wanders to someone else. A vision of Neural appears in her thoughts, the main character of her current internal dilemma. He is plain, dotted with a few light freckles, but his smile is genuine and bright. Neural, on the other hand, being with Neural is comfortable and fun. He's not obsessed with bragging about himself like other guys, and the only time he ever puts anything down is when he's making fun of himself to make others laugh. A quiet clink of chopsticks snaps her back to reality. Jonghi is staring at her nearly untouched plate. Are you full? He asks. Huh. Jiwoo blinks. You're not eating much, Jonghi notes. Jiwoo forces a polite, dismissive excuse. It's probably because I ate a lot earlier. I don't really have an appetite. Jonghi looks down. Ah. Jiwoo's mind immediately compares him to her friend again. If this were Neural, he would have had a fun comeback. Trying to salvage the dead weight of the conversation, Jonghi tries a new topic. Have you seen Dead Man 1? Yeah. I heard the sequel just came out, Jiwoo replies flatly. Jonghi's face lights up slightly, sensing an opportunity. Right. By any chance, this weekend, want to go see the sequel together? Okay, Jiwoo agrees, though her voice lacks any real excitement. Then, an idea hits her. Then, let's invite Neural, too. Jonghi's expression instantly drops. The light leaves his eyes. Ah, Neural, he mutters, looking away awkwardly. I think Neural said he was busy this weekend. Really? Then let's see it together when Neul's free, Jiwoo replies instantly, completely sidelining the one-on-one date. Jonghi glances down, his profile turning somber. You've really wanted to hang out with Neural since last time. Do you happen to like funny people? Yeah. Doesn't everyone? Jiwoo replies. Jonghi pauses, then shoots a piercing question. Then have you ever thought about wanting to date Neural? Jiwoo's eyes widen in genuine shock. Huh, with Neural, I've never even thought about it. Jonghi suddenly bursts into a nervous chuckle. Hey. Right, he adjusts his posture, trying to laugh it off. Ah, that was hilarious, sorry. Jiwoo's gaze hardens. The atmosphere turns freezing cold. What is? She asks. Huh, what's so hilarious that you have to apologize? Jiwoo demands, her voice dropping to a sharp tone. Inside, her irritation boils over. For some reason, I'm getting annoyed. Is it because being with Jonghi is so boring? I just want to go home already. She stands up abruptly, gathering her things. The scene cuts away from the restaurant. Neural is lying down, relaxing. It strikes me that this is nothing new. This isn't the first time. It's something I've experienced dozens of times, big and small. I don't want to be swayed again. When his cell phone vibrates, the screen lights up with a call from Park Hansel. He slides the screen to answer. Oh, Hansel, Neural greets smoothly. Hansel's loud voice booms through the speaker. Hey, your classes end early tomorrow, right? Wanna get wasted starting from noon? Neural chuckles, rolling over. Well, what do you say, or are you such a social butterfly you already have plans? Hansel teases. Ha. Right. A social butterfly, I guess I am, Neural jokes back, sitting up. Yeah, I have plans. Ah, why, hang out with me, Hansel whines. Neural's playful demeanor shifts into something slightly more sarcastic. Next time, please make a reservation well in advance. I can't miss a drinking party, after all. But Hansel's tone grows heavier, dripping with insecurity. If I were pushed from the center of the group to the fringes, you're the only friend I have. Neural listens, his brow furrowing as a familiar weight settles on his chest. I felt like no one would ever seek me out. Trying to deflect the sudden emotional intensity, Neural keeps his voice steady. Hey, if you want to make friends, just ask the others to hang out. I'm sure they'd all love to be your friend. It's because I click with you the most, Hansel insists over the line. Something clicks inside Neural, not a connection, but a spark of irritation. What am I doing right now? Neural thinks to himself, his grip tightening on the phone. He challenges Hansel openly. Click. Hey, you said it yourself. All that stuff about clicking being more important than looks is total bullshit. Hansel stammers on the other end, caught off guard. Hey, Neural's mind races with sudden guilt and confusion. Why am I getting angry at Hansel? What did Hansel even do wrong? All he did was ask me to go drinking tomorrow. Unable to take the conversation any further, Neural cuts him off abruptly. Hey, I'm sorry, I'll call you later. He presses the button, ending the call with a sharp clack. He drops his head into his hands, staring at the floor in absolute frustration. What are you even doing? The lecture hall was mostly empty, save for a few early arrivals. Neural sat a few rows back, his notebook already pulled out as he quietly turned the pages, completely absorbed in his own world. A few desks away sat Hansel, her sharp dark bob cut framing her face as she stared intently at her smartphone screen, completely detached from the quiet room around her. Neural, how could I look away there? I should have acted like nothing happened and greeted her. Hansel looked up from her screen, her expression guarded but calm. Why did you come so early? She asked, her voice cutting through the stillness. Neural caught his breath, trying to smooth over the awkwardness. I had some free time. He hesitated, shifting his weight before finally forcing the words out. Sorry about yesterday. Hansel blinked, looking back down at her screen with a detached air. About what? Oh, I didn't even remember, it's fine. She tapped carelessly at her phone. If I had to apologize for every little thing, I'd be dead busy. Newell's eyes narrowed slightly. You couldn't have not cared. He thought. Aloud, he murmured. But, did something happen? Hansel asked, not looking up. Neural looked down at his hands. Well, actually, it wasn't anything serious. My personality's a little twisted. Hansel paused, her dark eyes shifting toward Neural with a dry, knowing look. If your personality's twisted, what in the world is normal? Neural. Oh, that's true. At least one part should be decent, whether it's on the inside or outside, right? A long, heavy silence stretched across the lecture hall before Hansel spoke again. I also wanted to ask you something. Neural looked up. What, Hansel? Even if I were ugly, would you have wanted to be friends with me? Hansel asked, her eyes searching Newell's face with a sudden, raw vulnerability. Newell's hands clenched into tight fists against his knees. What should I say? Panic flared in his mind. The polite answer is already in my head, but... He looked at Hansel, refusing to hide behind a comfortable lie. Probably not, he exhaled, his shoulders dropping. Somehow, I want to be honest with Hansel. Neural, so that's what you were curious about. Even I wouldn't want to be friends with myself. He tilted his head. So why did you want to be friends with me? Hansel looked away, searching for the right words. I'm not exactly sure either. Maybe I wanted to prove that there's an exception. Newell's eyes softened, a quiet realization washing over him. Because I'm the same. Neural watched her, a deep ache settling behind his ribs. I can't fully understand what Hansel means. Hansel, I'm the same. Neural, internal, but I feel a pang somewhere in my chest. Why would she want to prove that exception to me? Why does it have to be me? Jiwoo comes into the lecture hall. Breaking the heavy spell between them, Jiwoo finally turned her attention toward them, who had been sitting quietly a few desks away. She asked, you came really early. Did you come together? Hansel replies, no. We met in the lecture hall. Jiwoo. I see. Jiwoo stared at his back, a cold knot forming in her stomach. Why does it feel so distant? Images of the past flashed through her mind. Neural. Last time when we drank, You clearly said you didn't dislike me. You weren't like this when we first met. Determined to break the icy wall, Jiwoo leaned across the aisle, forcing a bright, cheerful smile onto her face. Do you want to go see Deadman 2 with Junkie this weekend? Neural flinched, his hand freezing over his notebook. He didn't turn around. He swallowed hard, his voice tight. I'm seeing it with someone else. Jiwoo's smile faltered, her eyes widening. Someone else? Who? Before Neural could stammer out an excuse, Hansel stepped in smoothly from her desk. I was supposed to watch it with him. She began, speaking seamlessly for him. Jiwoo's breath hitched as she looked between them. What on earth? It's like she's trying to help Neural out of an awkward situation. A dark, venomous thought began to take root in Jiwoo's mind, twisting her expression into one of quiet resentment. Did Neural tell them that he dislikes me? Even though he knew me before Hansel. He knew me first. She gripped the edge of her desk, her inner pride flaring up against the sting of rejection. There were people who didn't like me, but in the end, everyone came to like me. That's great. Neural will be no different. Plastering her bright, untouchable smile back onto her face, Jiwoo leaned forward, her voice ringing out with forced cheerful stability. Then let's go see it together. The warm, amber glow of the cinema sign hummed softly, casting long shadows across the polished wooden floors of the theater lobby. Underneath the word, cinema, spelled out in illuminated bulb lettering, Han Neural stood by himself, shifting nervously in his plain white t-shirt and light brown trousers. He checked his phone. It was getting late. I knew it, a bright, familiar voice echoed through the lobby. Neural looked up to see Lee Jiwoo walking toward him, balancing a massive tub of onion cheese popcorn and a large drink. Her vibrant pink hair caught the theater lights, framing a warm smile. I figured you'd be the first one to arrive. Want a Zero Coke? You like it, don't you? She added effortlessly, extending a red cup with a bent straw toward him. Neural froze, caught entirely off guard. A bead of sweat rolled down his cheek as his mind scrambled. No, I. Before he could finish his sentence, two figures approached from the entrance. It was Hunsu, dressed in a sharp black long-sleeve top and long skirt, alongside Junkie, who wore an unbuttoned cream shirt over dark slacks. Jiwoo turned to them, her eyes lighting up. You got here together? Yeah, Hunsu replied calmly, gesturing over her shoulder. We met just out front. Junkie looked around the sprawling entertainment complex, rubbing the back of his neck. Is it time now? Where are we going though? He looked at the labyrinth of hallways. Maybe it's because this place is so big, that I can't even find my way. Jiwoo didn't hesitate. With an easy grace, she pointed toward the center plaza. Just take that escalator up one floor. Let's go, Neural. Neural blinked, completely mesmerized by how naturally she took charge. Ah, okay. The group moved through the grand complex, recounting the movie they had just finished. That movie was so fun, right? Jiwoo said as she led them into a bustling, brightly lit restaurant. I heard this place's green onion chicken is amazing, Jiwoo continued, seamlessly setting small appetizer plates down at their wooden table. The venue was packed to the brim, humming with the chatter of dozens of patrons. Junkie looked out the window at the massive crowd gathered outside the entrance. Must really be a hotspot. The line's insanely long. If Jiwoo hadn't booked us a table, we wouldn't have gotten in. Jiwoo nodded in agreement, leaning back in her chair. The blog said you have to make a reservation. Sitting quietly at the end of the table, Neural watched Jiwoo arrange the plates. A sudden, heavy weight sank deep into his chest. So it's things like this, Neural thought bitterly, his gaze dropping to his own hands resting against the ceramic dish. Every time I see stuff like this, I feel endlessly ashamed. That I would dare to look up to someone so good, someone I shouldn't even dream of reaching, and yet I was gazing at them. He stole a glance at Jiwoo. If someone's pretty, they could just be pretty. Why go so far as to be thoughtful too? She was like that from the very first moment I saw her at the theater. His mind flashed back to the lobby, the way she held out the drink. Want a Zero Coke? You like it, don't you? He bit his lower lip, the contrast between them feeling wider than ever. How could I ever think that someone so beautiful might like me? The closer I get, the more it feels like my ugliness is being revealed. Why is Jiwoo not only beautiful, but a good person too? It's making me feel like I'm constantly slipping away. Neural, are you okay? Jiwoo's voice suddenly shattered his internal monologue. She was leaning forward, her eyes wide with genuine worry. Neural snapped back to reality, realizing he had been staring blankly at the table for minutes. If I keep acting like this, no one will like me, he scolded himself, trying to force a relaxed expression onto his face. I should at least try to keep the mood light and fun. But whomever I see Jiwoo, my body goes numb, my strength leaves me, and it's hard to do anything forward. A wave of exhaustion washed over him. Why am I so sleepy? I wasn't supposed to be here from the start. In this dazzling backdrop, a black and distinct blemish, like a sunspot. That's me. Junkie says cheer up, Han Neural. Hurry and do some CPR on the mood. Seeking a distraction from his own spiraling thoughts, Neural tuned into the conversation happening across the table between Junkie and another acquaintance from their circle, Hansel, who had joined them for the meal. Junkie was playfully nudging Hansel, laughing loudly. "Hey, why are you making Neural do it?" Junkie joked, leaning over. "You think just because you're handsome you can just sit there and it's fine, don't you?" Hansel chuckled softly, leaning back with an air of effortless confidence. Watching them, Neural felt a cold spike of disillusionment. What's this feeling now? Betrayal. He stared at Hansel, realizing the mental pedestal he had built for him was crumbling. The Hansel I imagined wasn't someone who gained favor by complimenting appearances. Hansel pressed on, swirling his drink. "Have you ever entertained people before?" Junkie shrugged, completely unbothered. "Well, probably. Hansel smirked, "but you've never really adjusted yourself to anyone else, right? You never read the room." Junkie looked up, his expression entirely blank, completely devoid of malice but utterly disconnected from the social anxieties plaguing Neural. "Why would I read the room? You've got to live proudly." Hansel laughed it off, shaking his head. "Yeah, I guess that's true. Even now you're not noticing anything." Neural looked down at his glass as the group raised their drinks together. No, Neural realized, a bittersweet clarity settling over him. Hansel never actually said he was that kind of person. It was just an image I forced onto him because I wished he was like that. Today was so fun. Jiwoo cheered brightly, her pink hair swaying as she raised her glass to the center of the table. "Let's keep hanging out from now on. Here." Cheers. The group echoed in unison, clinking their glasses together over the steam of the fresh chicken. As the rim of his glass struck the others, Neural took a quiet breath, finally letting go of the illusions he had constructed. It was all just my own misguided expectations. The neon signs of the city blur against the dark pavement. The group hangout has just ended. A few steps ahead, the silhouettes of their friends fade into the distance. Lee Jiwoo, shouting back, waving, "Get home safe, everyone." Han Neural, internal monologue. "Today, I was planning to go home alone comfortably. Just to slide back into my own skin, drop the smile, and finally breathe." Neural stops walking. Beside him, a familiar figure pauses, matching his stride. It's Hansel. Han Neural, internal monologue. "But of all people, it's in the same direction as Hansel. That means I'll have to keep pretending I'm fine for longer." They walk side by side. The silence between them stretches, filled only by the rhythmic crunch of their shoes against the pavement. Step, step, step. Hansel glances sideways at him, her expression unreadable. Han Neural, "Today was more fun than I thought." Hansel, "Really?" Han Neural, internal monologue. "She seems unexpectedly indifferent. Could it be that she was just pretending to get along well with everyone else?" Hansel stops walking entirely. She turns her head, her gaze sharp, piercing straight through him. "Hansel, you kept looking only at Jiwoo." Newell's heart drops into his stomach. His eyes widen in brief panic before he forces his face back into a blank slate. Han Neural, "Me." Hansel, turning away casually. "It was really obvious. But Jiwoo really is pretty." Han Neural, internal monologue. "I really don't want to have this kind of conversation with Hansel." Hansel, continuing, oblivious to the tension. "She's got this bright and natural kind of beauty. Before we went into the theater, you were practically spacing out, weren't you?" Han Neural, internal monologue. "Why does she keep saying things like this? Did she forget every single thing we talked about?" Hansel, sighs, her voice dropping lower. Han Neural. Neural stares at her back. A cold, suffocating weight settles over his chest. Han Neural, internal monologue. "I thought Hansel really understood my situation, my feelings." Hansel turns around, her face illuminated slightly by a passing car's headlights. Her lips curl into a soft, questioning smile. "Hansel, do you like Jiwoo that much?" Something snaps silently inside Neural. The fragile peace he maintained all evening shatters. Han Neural, internal monologue. "The things I thought were understanding and consideration, could they actually have been something else?" His hands tightly clench into fists at his sides. He stops walking, his head lowering as his shoulders tremble slightly. Hansel notices the shift in air, blinking in confusion as she steps back. "Hansel, what's with you? Are you mad?" Han Neural, voice low, sharp, breaking through the calm. You know I like Jiwoo." Han Neural, cutting her off, voice rising with venom. "You know that even though I like her, I just have to shut up and lie. So why do you scratch at people's insides?" Hansel steps back further, completely taken aback by the sudden raw vitriol. Han Neural, "The other kids wouldn't have any idea what I'm thinking. Chasing after something doesn't actually deal any damage to them. They would have just grinned and brushed it off." He takes a step toward her, his face twisting with a mixture of intense anger and deep, agonizing vulnerability. Han Neural, "But you know everything. If you still act like this knowing that, it's a cruel thing to do." Hansel, her voice trembling, raising her hands defensively. Neural, Han Neural, speaking, over her, breathless, but acting like nothing's wrong, pretending like I have no feelings, pretending like that isn't wearing a mask, it's closer to shaving away the real face. Neural suddenly stops. The fire in his voice dies out, replaced by a hollow, crushing realization. He breaths heavily, staring at the concrete pavement beneath his shoes. Han Neural, internal monologue, the problem is all with me. I'm the one who has to suppress my feelings for Jiwoo. I'm the one who expected to be understood by Hansel. I'm the one who got hurt pretending I was fine. All my inferiority and ugliness too, everything is my problem, so why? He squeezes his eyes shut, his knuckles turning white from the force of his clenched fists. Han Neural, internal monologue, why do I only end up getting especially angry at Hansel? Was it that I thought Hansel was completely different from others? He opens his eyes, staring blankly ahead as the anger drains completely, leaving only a cold, bitter emptiness. Han Neural, internal monologue, why did I think only Hansel was different? Was it because I put hope in that little bit of understanding she showed? That there was someone in the world who thought like me, that there was someone who completely understood me. A bitter, self-deprecating shadow falls over his eyes. Han Neural, internal monologue, but now that I see it, I've suppressed that hope all my life so I wouldn't be disappointed, so why did I slip this time? Something that had protected me is starting to crack. I have to patch it up somehow. I must not expect anything. I can't make exceptions, not even for Hansel. All people are the same. The silence settles heavily between them. Hansel stands a few feet away, her mouth slightly open, completely frozen by the weight of his outburst. The morning light filters through the windows. Neural stands near a bulletin board, staring blankly at the wall. Hansel approaches him slowly, looking guilty, clutching the strap of her bag. Hansel, Neural, yesterday. Neural turns around. The raw emotion from the previous night is completely gone. His face is a perfect, flawless porcelain mask of politeness. He bows slightly, his voice smooth, distant, and utterly hollow. Han Neural, sorry. Hansel, blinking, caught off guard. Han Neural, I'm a complete idiot. Hansel's face tightens with shock and confusion. Neural, I was just lashing out yesterday. Ugly people just get angry for no reason sometimes, you know what I mean, right? No, don't try to understand. Just kill me. Hansel stares down at him, her hands folded over her stylish, off-the-shoulder cream top. She sighs, her expression softening into a mix of exasperation and pity. Hansel, why would I kill you? Neural snaps his head up, his wide eyes suddenly full of desperate hope. Neural, so, you're going to let me live? Hansel, resigned. Of course. Neural instantly transitions from total despair to bright, overly dramatic gratitude. He beams, bowing again. Neural, thank you, let's go, I'll treat you to some fancy, expensive coffee. They stand side by side before the giant chalkboard menu of a warm, dimly lit cafe. Hansel holds her arm, watching him with a lingering, melancholic look. Hansel, under her breath, what's all this? Neural looks ahead at the menu, his casual smile hiding a calculated internal retreat. Neural, this should do it. Hansel will probably understand this much. From now on, I just need to keep a reasonable distance. Of course, we'll still hang out and drink together. We'll have fun. Even more fun than before. But, I won't have any excessive expectations like I did before. Then there won't be any problems. Hansel turns her head toward him, her lips parting as she tries to break through the emotional wall he is rapidly building. Hansel, Neural, but, yesterday, Neural immediately cuts her off, holding up his hands defensively with a forced, breezy laugh. Neural, whoa, let me stop you there. I don't want to hear it. Let's not be the kind of people who dwell on the past. We should strive together toward the future, don't you think? Hansel freezes, her voice dying in her throat. Hansel, suddenly, Junkie stumbles into the frame, breaking the tension by slamming a heavy hand onto Newell's shoulder. Junkie, hey, don't just buy one for Hansel, get me one too. Neural rolls his eyes, shoving Junkie's hand off. Neural, this bastard just assumes I'm paying. Junkie, grinning, you're not. Junkie, too bad. If you were a pretty girl, I would have dated you. What a shame, right, what are you doing tonight? Neural, why, nothing special. Junkie, some people who are free are planning to go for drinks. Neural hesitates, glancing out of the corner of his eye at Hansel. She is looking away, her posture stiff. Neural, by any chance, tonight? Hansel, quietly, yeah, I'll go too. Junkie's eyes widen in absolute shock. Junkie, oh, what's this? A super rare sight. A lot of people will probably come now, huh? Neural watches Hansel's face as she forces a small, fragile smile for Junkie. Neural, her smile, doesn't look very happy, whatever it is, There must be a reason. There's no need for me to wonder what that reason is. The table is cluttered with beer glasses and plates of half-eaten food. The ambient noise of the crowded bar hums loudly. Nerl sits across from Hansel, holding a small glass of soju. Hansel, did you drink a lot? Nerl, well, I think I drank a reasonable amount. Nerl sets his glass down, feeling a false sense of security wash over him. Nerl, maybe it's because I've had a few drinks, but I feel more comfortable around Hansel than before. As I thought, if I don't expect anything, I can treat her comfortably. Hansel stares tightly at her glass, her knuckles turning white. The gentle compliance from earlier vanishes, replaced by a sudden, sharp edge. Hansel, hey, earlier what kind of person apologizes like that and just leaves? Nerl blinks, caught off guard. Nerl, why, wouldn't that be better for Hansel, too? Hansel, voice trembling, you didn't even listen to what I had to say. Nerl locks eyes with her, and time seems to slow down. He sees the heavy, unresolved emotion swimming in her gaze. Nerl, did Hansel have something she really wanted to say to me? An expression that looks like it's about to reveal her true feelings. Eyes that make you want to open up your heart. Her voice, the way she nods, but, the more it seems that way, the more I shouldn't listen. Right now, having covered up yesterday's sincere feelings with a joke, is for the best. Hansel, too, will soon forget what happened today. He forces a cruel, mocking laugh to break the spell, loudly addressing the rowdy group of guys crowding around their table. Nerl, what's this? This Beauty and the Beast combination. The guys chuckle uncomfortably. Nerl leans back, masking his own pain with a bitter smirk. Nerl, yeah. Look at Hansel. How much pain must she be in, having to entertain all these grimy dudes? He leans forward, looking right into her eyes, dropping his voice to a sharp edge. Nerl, how is it? Is it actually painful being so pretty? Hansel's eyes well up with tears. She looks at him with utter betrayal. Hansel, I'm not so sure. Nerl, you're probably in pain because of a bastard like me. That's right. Hansel snaps. Tears spill over her cheeks as a heavy sob escapes her throat. She buries her face in her hands. Nerl, this isn't it. The surrounding tables erupt into sudden, panicked chatter. Junkie, Han Nerl is bullying Hansel. Are you okay? Hansel's crying. Nerl sits frozen, staring at his hands in absolute horror as the reality of what he has done sinks in. Hansel, choking back a sob, standing up abruptly. I'm not feeling well. Hansel turns around and bolts out of the loud tavern into the night, sobbing into her hands. The room erupts into a flurry of whispering voices. She was fine until just a moment ago. Hey, do you know why Hansel is acting like that? Nerl stands up slowly, pushing his chair back. His gaze hardens with clarity. Nerl, the person who should follow Hansel out right now. He steps out from behind the table, leaving the crowd behind. Nerl, I'm going to step out for a bit. The nighttime city streets were empty, washed in a dull violet hue under the hum of distant streetlights. Nerl ran blindly through the narrow alleys, his chest heaving as his sneakers slapped against the cold pavement. His mind was screaming, repeating the cruel, cutting words he had thrown out earlier like a shield for his own insecurities. Since you're pretty, it's okay, right? Since you're pretty, it's okay if you don't have a friend like me, right? Since you're pretty, you won't get hurt, right? Because you're pretty. But as he rounded the corner, he froze. Against a cold brick wall stood Hansel. Her back was turned to him, her shoulders trembling slightly under her white crop top. The facade of her effortless perfection was completely gone. Newell's foot slipped against the pavement with a soft scuff. Hansel flinched and turned her head slightly, her dark, short hair shifting around her face. When she turned around fully, Nerl felt his stomach drop. Her eyes were brimming with tears, glittering painfully under the pale night sky. But, Hansel's voice trembled, breaking the heavy silence. There's no one like that in the world. Nerl stood paralyzed, his breath catching in his throat. If someone you're close to acts cold, of course it hurts, Neil internal thoughts, her fingers clutching at the fabric of her shirt. You want to apologize, but can't, and it frustrates you. If a friend drifts away and there's nothing you can do, it eats you up inside. Nerl cast his eyes downward, the weight of his guilt pressing heavily on his chest. For me, even if someone just changes their tone slightly, my heart sinks, and yet, I ended up hurting Hansel so casually. Nerl looked up, his own eyes wide with a mix of shock and self-loathing. I'm sorry, I thought Hansel wouldn't care at all. Hansel looked directly at him, her tear-streaked face pale and vulnerable. Hey, what are you sorry about? I thought being pretty and handsome makes everything okay, Nerl confessed, his voice dropping to a raw, painful whisper as he stared at the ground. That only people like me get hurt. I'm the one who's sorry, I'm so ashamed that I'm such a petty human. He took a shaky breath, the realization tearing through him. I didn't realize I was focusing on the splinter in my own finger while driving a nail into someone else's heart. She looked back up at him, remembering the root of his bitter jealousy. That day, You were only looking at Jiwoo. As he spoke the words out loud, looking at her weeping form, a wave of disbelief washed over him. I can't believe such a pretty person is crying because of me. Hansel, of course it's natural that you were looking at Jiwoo, Hansel said softly, her head dropping as she crossed her arms defensively, but still, it somehow hurt. Neil, seeing Hansel's tears, the tight, bitter knot that had been winding up inside Newell's chest for days finally began to melt away. Hansel, that I am less pretty than Jiwoo. Her voice, laced with an unexpected, deep-seated insecurity. Suddenly, I became conscious of it, my pride hurt. Newell's jaw dropped. What does that even mean? Hansel is less pretty than Jiwoo. Nonsense, I never thought Jiwoo was prettier than you. Hansel let out a bitter, watery sigh, looking away. Even pretty people think like that. Hansel, then why were you only looking at Jiwoo? She shot back, her eyes narrowing slightly through her tears. Neil, because I'm interested in Jiwoo, Newell blurted out honestly. Hansel stared at him, her expression a mix of hurt and validation. If I were prettier than Jiwoo, you would have been more interested in me from the start. Newell stood there, completely overwhelmed. He knew he wasn't as conventionally handsome as Junkie, but knowing that Hansel, the girl everyone fawned over, had actually gotten jealous because his eyes were fixed on Lee Jiwoo was a dizzying revelation. It's strangely satisfying, yet ridiculous. Hansel broke the silence, her shoulders dropping in defeat. No, sorry. I acted bratty toward you, and now I'm like this again. I didn't mean to, so why am I like this? She covered her face briefly, her voice muffled. I feel like annoying you, saying mean things. I want to hear that I'm prettier than Jiwoo, but even I know it's childish, so I can't say it honestly. Still, I shouldn't have said that. Listening to her strip away her pride, Newell felt his remaining defenses crumble entirely. My heart feels like it's melting, as if I've never been hurt before. Hansel, when you said, how could you say that knowing how I feel? It's cruel. That's when I snapped back to my senses, Hansel said softly, taking a step closer to her. I really felt so sorry. I scolded myself for getting hurt over such a thing, for expecting and getting disappointed alone, for still being pitifully unable to control my emotions. She looked at her gently. When someone tells me it's okay, that it's natural to get hurt, and apologizes. No, Neil interrupted, her voice shaking as she wiped her eyes. Actually, it wasn't that harsh of a thing to say. Somehow, I feel like I might cry. Honestly, I'm really timid, really sensitive. He looked up at her, a deeply cynical smile touching her lips. But if someone has that personality with this face, if an ugly person had that personality, they couldn't survive. So I try to act insensitive and overly cool to avoid getting hurt. He looked down at his sneakers. This time, I think I didn't even consider that you'd get hurt. I just thought, since you're pretty, you probably won't get hurt much. You wouldn't be affected much by someone like me. How could that be? Hansel cut her off, his voice cracking with emotion. I was really pissed off and frustrated. You were hurt by me and now don't want to be friends at all. I lost a friend because I said the wrong thing. I feel so sorry and miserable. He extended a hand, his expression completely sincere. I'm sorry. That was really my mistake. From now on, let's be honest with each other. That was really tough this time. Hansel looked at his outstretched hand, the heavy tension slowly evaporating between them. Let's go inside now, Hansel said gently. Hansel suddenly laughed through her remaining tears, wiping her face aggressively as her usual spunky attitude returned. Ah, damn, this is so embarrassing. Why did I cry? It's because of you. Newell smiled, relieved. You were whining. Sorry, until just now. What do I do with that? The next morning, the bright sunlight hit the college campus courtyard. Newell was walking toward the main building when a familiar voice cut through the chatter of the students. Newell, he turned around. It was Hansel. It feels strange seeing Hansel for let's go to the lecture hall together, she said smoothly, falling into step right beside him. As they walked, Hansel naturally reached out and looped her arm through his. Newell stiffened, his eyes darting down to where her arm rested securely against his. My chest feels like it's tingling, feels happier than before. His mind immediately began to race into overdrive. Do friends of opposite genders usually hold arms? Since it's not the hand, I feel like I could hold it. Am I overthinking again? Maybe it's just a sign of friendliness. He glanced at her profile as she walked confidently beside him. Does that mean Hansel likes me? He shook his head internally, trying to snap himself out of it. That can't be it. But did Hansel confuse people this much before? No, maybe it's only me who's confused. A heavy, cold drop of water hit Hansel right on the forehead, followed immediately by a sudden, violent downpour. Oh, it's raining, Hansel noted, looking up at the sky. They said it's a localized heavy rain, and it suddenly started. Newell muttered, fumbling with his backpack straps. Hansel pulled closer to him, squeezing his arm. Let's share. Hansel blinked, pointing at his bag. You have an umbrella. Shrugged carelessly, flash of a playful smirk on his face. Ah, I'm too lazy to open it. Let's go, let's go. The lecture room was quiet before the storm of the upcoming professor's arrival. Sitting at their usual bench, laptop open, Neural, the quiet main character, and Hansel were already settled in. From the doorway, Lee Jiwoo, her signature pink hair catching the fluorescent lights, stepped into the room with an enthusiastic shout. Oh, you guys are always here early for this class. Hansel looked up from the screen, offering a practical shrug. Yeah, it's best to get to the lecture room ahead of time. Jiwoo beamed, flashing a bright, slightly over-eager smile. Right. Then from now on, I should come early too and hang out with you guys. She slid into the row behind them, leaning forward with her arms crossed on their headrest, but as the initial excitement faded, a sudden realization hit her. But hey, you guys, weren't you talking about something? Talking, Neural asked, his expression blank. Yeah, I could hear laughter from all the way outside, Jiwoo pressed, her eyes darting between the two of them. Hansel, what was it? If I don't remember, then it must have been useless chatter. Neil then nudged Hansel. Hansel, did you do this? Hansel gasped, hitting her palm against her forehead. Aw damn, I forgot. Hey, Neural, you should have told me earlier. You're telling me now on purpose, right? That's bullshit, you just didn't do it, Neural retorted smoothly. As the two of them bickered back and forth, a heavy silence settled over Jiwoo. Her smile slowly vanished, and her hands clenched tightly into fists against her lap. Watching them seamlessly interact, a bitter internal monologue started playing in her head. For some reason, I don't feel that close with them. Desperate to break the invisible wall separating her from them, Jiwoo piped up again, masking her insecurity with an energetic tone. What are you guys doing tonight? In her mind, she justified her persistence. The reason I like Neural and Hansel is maybe because they have things I don't. Both of them are fun to talk with and have cool personalities. Compared to others, they seem more mature and stylish too. Aloud, she pitched, wanna go to Sioko Pocha? If not, we can go somewhere else. Hansel sighed regretfully. I don't think I can, it's my workout day. Oh really, you're so dedicated to exercising, Jiwoo replied, her disappointment barely hidden. She quickly turned her gaze. What about Neural? I probably need to do some assignments, I've got some urgent stuff, Neural replied evenly, his eyes never leaving his laptop. He then added, ask Junkie if he's free today. Jiwoo's shoulders slumped slightly. It'd be nice if the four of us hung out again like last time, she murmured. Ah, okay, Jiwoo looked down, the weight of the rejection sinking in. Same old again today. Later that evening, the sunset painted the city streets in a deep orange glow. Jiwoo found herself walking through the neon-lit alleyways with a different group of classmates, including Junkie. Junkie pulled out his phone, breaking the walking rhythm. Hey, did anyone contact Neural? Jiwoo, staring blankly ahead, answered out of habit. Newell's probably doing assignments now. Suddenly, Junkie pointed down the street, her voice lifting. Oh, it's Neural. Jiwoo's eyes went wide, her chest tightening as she saw Neural and Hansel walking side by side in the distance, completely caught up in their own world. Looks like those two are real best friends now, Junkie observed, watching them walk away. Hey, maybe they're dating. No way that's true, Junkie countered with a wave of her hand. Isn't it more likely they found some killer restaurant? One that only serves two or more. So the two of them secretly go eat there together. Just eat and split after. That's way more realistic than dating. Every word felt like a physical twist to Jiwoo's heart. She fell behind the group, her face darkening into a scowl. Why did I even say I'd go drinking with them, she thought bitterly, looking at the classmates around her. Hey, you never know with guys and girls, Junkie laughed, completely oblivious to Jiwoo's mood. They find this stuff fun. Jiwoo stared at her shoes as they walked. Tonight's gonna be boring too. Such a waste of time. Why didn't they include me? When we watched a movie on the weekend, we all had fun together. Did they want to meet without me? Are they really dating? Then why not just say so instead of lying? Was I not supposed to know they were meeting up? Unable to take the agonizing uncertainty anymore, she pulled out her phone and opened her chat window with Neural. She sent a carefully constructed trap. Jiwoo, what should I do? Something urgent came up. I think we'll have to do this another time. Neural, got it, Jiwoo. Ah, are you guys drinking by yourselves? She paused, staring at the screen. Why am I worried? I should just ask. She typed out the final blow. Jiwoo, I saw you with Hansel heading toward the market. A few agonizing minutes passed before Newell's multi-line response popped up. Neural, hey, I'm really sorry. Actually, it's nice that you came, but if you came, the other kids would want to come too. So I talked to Hansel about eating together this time and eating we everyone next time. I'm really sorry for lying. Hansel said sorry too. Jiwoo stared at the wall of text. So that's what it was. True, when I showed up before, the gathering did blow up into something huge. She bit her lip, staring at the glowing screen. That's the truth, right? What are you doing? Junkie's voice suddenly shattered her thoughts, his face leaning into her space. Jiwoo quickly locked her phone. I just asked Neural something. Isn't Neural hanging out with Hansel right now? Junkie asked, raising an eyebrow. We just had something to talk about between the two of us, Jiwoo lied smoothly, mimicking Newell's earlier dismissiveness. Junkie scoffed lightly, turning back to his drink as they finally settled into a loud, crowded bar. Weird, usually, do guys and girls have stuff they need to talk about in private? The background noise of the bar faded into a dull hum for Jiwoo. She sat slumped over the table, staring blankly at a green bottle of soju. I thought it would be just boring, but this is way too boring, she thought miserably. Newell's actually kind of popular with the girls, Junkie continued to ramble to the rest of the table. Jiwoo's irritation spiked. Why does Junkie keep talking about Neural when he's not even here? What are Noel and Hansel doing right now? They must be having so much fun, right? Joking around, talking seriously, laughing together. I should have been there too. Why am I here? Suddenly, a loud snap sounded right in front of her face as Junkie waved his hand. Hey, Lee Jiwoo, you're not falling asleep, are you? No, I'm not falling asleep, she snapped back, leaning away. Junkie stood up, stretching his arms. Wanna step out for a bit? I'm going to the convenience store to buy cigarettes. If you're sleepy, come with me. No, I'm fine, she said coldly. If you come, I'll at least buy you some ice cream, Junkie offered, trying to coax her out. I said I'm fine, Jiwoo repeated, her voice dripping with exhaustion. It's not like I don't know why he's doing this, she thought, fully aware of Junkie's transparent attempts to flirt. But if I've gone this far, shouldn't he get the hint? As Junkie finally turned away, disappointed, Jiwoo rested her chin in her hands, looking out at the crowded room of laughing, drinking college students. A profound, crushing wave of clarity hit her. Something I've only realized recently, my surroundings are always full of guys. I went to so many drinking gatherings, yet I don't have a close friend among the school people. She stared into her empty glass, the ultimate question echoing in her mind. Am I doing something wrong here? Jiwoo, sometimes, things I can't understand happen to me. Unexpected events usually came from something I said or did without bad intentions, or sometimes just because of my very existence. Like when I went shopping with a friend for her clothes, but the clothes looked better on and she got upset, and the friend got upset. Or when a friend introduced me to her boyfriend, and he couldn't keep his eyes off her. Honestly speaking, I hadn't done anything wrong. This time too, I hadn't done anything wrong to Neural or Hansel. Jiwoo genuinely believes in the absolute purity of her actions. We had fun hanging out, and I believed sincerity would come through. I'm sure it will. Neural sits at a desk, typing diligently on his laptop. Junkie is nearby, while Hansel stands close by, packing her things. Jiwoo walks up behind Neural, leaning over his shoulder with a bright, carefree smile. Jiwoo, are your classes all over? Neural, yeah, I'll finish this up and head home. Jiwoo, turning quickly to Hansel, right, Hansel, I'm going shopping for clothes later, wanna come? Hansel, I've got a makeup class for a required course. Sorry. Jiwoo, blinking, genuinely surprised. A makeup class, Neural. They said there's a makeup class for copywriting. Hansel gathers the rest of her books and exits the lab. Jiwoo looks toward Neural. Jiwoo, copywriting, isn't that something mostly upperclassmen take? Neural, yeah, maybe she didn't know and just registered for it. Jiwoo, leaning closer to Neural, playfully tugging his chair, then at least you hang out with me. Neural, I don't like shopping. Jiwoo, who said anything about shopping? Let's go drink. Neural, drink, drinking, maybe, thinking frantically, what should I do? Jiwoo, suddenly grabbing Newell's collar, her teeth bared playfully but fiercely. Hey, when other people ask you to drink, you say, heck yeah, call. Before they even finish, why do you play hard to get when I'm the one asking, huh? Earlier you said your classes were over and you were going home, I remember. Don't think you're escaping today. Later that evening, Neural and Jiwoo sit across from each other in a dimly lit bar, glasses raised. Jiwoo, when you drink with Hansel, what do you guys usually talk about? Neural, well, it's hard to say exactly what we talk about. We just talk about all kinds of things. Neural internal monologue, if I said I hated getting the chance to drink alone with Jiwoo, that would be a lie. But, the truth is, it's also incredibly uncomfortable. Jiwoo, like what, for example? Neural, stuff like, aren't you afraid of dying? Or about what kind of relationship you had with your parents, and also, what do you think about marriage? Oh, marriage, do you want to get married? Neural, wanting to date is just one out of those 7 Dragon Balls. I still need to gather 6 more. Jiwoo, then when was your last relationship? Neural internal monologue. Luckily, the more often those subtle emotional ripples come, the more the feelings I sense get dull. Neural. What do you mean last? I've never dated. Jiwoo. Eyes widening with sudden, manic excitement. Really? Then you're a mosal. Mosal is slang for someone who's never dated in his life. Neural. You're way too excited about this. Yeah, happy you've got something to tease me about, right? Jiwoo. Why would I tease you? I'm just glad. I've never dated either, not even once. Neural internal monologue. Honestly, it's not that surprising. It's not that she couldn't, she just hasn't. Jiwoo simply chose not to. Like a rich man playing at being poor, Jiwoo's loneliness is completely temporary and voluntary. Jiwoo. Usually I'm fine, but when the lights are off, I feel seriously lonely. Neural internal monologue. But me, I might really be alone my whole life. Neural. Yeah, that's true, you're right. Jiwoo. Suddenly changing the subject, her eyes narrowing slightly. Then why are you closer to Hansel? With Hansel, you even talk about boring stuff. You drink a lot with her too. Why not with me? I also want to be close with you guys. Neural. What are you talking about? We're already close. Jiwoo's sad face softly, looking down at her glass. No, we're not. What are you guys so busy with? Why is it so hard to meet up with you? Neural. Maybe it's because you have too much free time. Jiwoo. What? I'm super busy. Hansel. Thanks for coming out. Hansel. It's nothing. I was planning on setting something up anyway. Besides, I couldn't hang out last time because of my makeup class. Neural internal monologue. Hansel has her usual haughty, cat-like expression, but she's actually being a bit cautious. Seeing how sullen Jiwoo was yesterday, I couldn't just stand by and do nothing, so I set up this meeting. I should have asked Hansel first, though. It's not that Hansel dislikes Jiwoo, but she doesn't seem very comfortable around her either. But this time, even if I had to pretend not to know Hansel's true feelings, I wanted to soothe Jiwoo's hurt feelings. Jiwoo. Noticing Hansel pushing her plate away. Hansel, you're not eating more. Hansel. Yeah, do you want it? I'm done. Jiwoo. Really, thanks, but why aren't you eating? Are you managing your weight? Hansel. Yeah, I have a set amount I eat. Jiwoo. That figures, so that's why you're so slim. Do you eat sugar-free snacks, then? Hansel. Yeah, usually. Neural internal monologue. She seems the same as usual, but why does something feel a bit off? Jiwoo. Hansel, what do you usually do when you're taking a break? Hansel. Well, I think I'm almost always working out when I have free time. Jiwoo. Really, you must really love working out. Hansel. Not really. Neural internal monologue. That weird feeling from before wasn't just my imagination. Hansel seems to be holding something back, suppressed under a bad mood. Hansel. I'm not someone who can enjoy working out. I do it like my life depends on it. If I don't, I gain weight in an instant. That's why my greatest wish is to not have to exercise. Jiwoo. Wow, you're so cool. Hansel. Cool. Jiwoo. Yeah, I've never done anything with that kind of life or death determination. I can't even stand being hungry, so I eat whatever I want. But if you hate it that much, wouldn't it be okay to skip a workout every now and then? You might gain a little weight, but I think you'd still be pretty. Hansel's sad face with a stiff, tight smile. You're right, I guess I am a bit obsessive about it. Neural internal monologue. It feels like their conversation keeps missing the mark. Jiwoo is trying hard to get closer to Hansel by complimenting her, and she's even trying to suggest her own casual solutions, but it doesn't seem to be making Hansel feel any better or raising her opinion of Jiwoo at all. Neural. Interrupting nervously. Hey, could you two stop talking about who's pretty and all that? I'm feeling pretty left out here. Neural cuts in to break the thick, awkward tension between the two girls by jokingly complaining about being ignored. Jiwoo. And you, does it make sense that you've never done anything like your life depended on it? Huh, you're one to talk, have you? Jiwoo turns the focus onto Neural, playfully calling him out and questioning if he has ever shown real obsession or dedication to anything. Neural. I played games at a PC bang for 3 days and 2 nights like my life depended on it. Do you have any idea the kind of passion it takes to hold in a crap just to keep gaming? Neural uses self-deprecating humor, bringing up a ridiculous gaming marathon to lighten the heavy atmosphere. Jiwoo. Yeah, that's gross. Jiwoo reacts with typical disgust to his blunt and unrefined humor. Neural. And Jiwoo, when you're always saying how pretty Hansel is, have you ever considered how bored I must be? Hansel's skin is a work of art, her eyes are so charming, I wish I had a cat-like face like hers, blah, blah, blah. Neural mimics Jiwoo to highlight how much she flatters Hansel, successfully shifting the conversation away from the original friction. Jiwoo. I only said it a few times. Neil's sad face with frustration. And Hansel, you too, saying Jiwoo is pretty and cute and has a good personality, just meet up by yourselves, please. why are you torturing me? Neural calls out Hansel as well, exposing that both girls actually admire each other behind their backs, forcing them to see their mutual respect. Jiwoo. Hansel, you can say those things directly to me, you know. Jiwoo's mood immediately lifts upon learning that the cold, distant Hansel actually spoke highly of her. Hansel. Ah, it's a little embarrassing. Hansel shies away, breaking her icy exterior. Jiwoo. Still, it makes me feel really good. Jiwoo feels deeply validated, realizing her desire to be liked by Hansel is mutual. Hansel. Then from now on, Neural, you can leave our group chat. Hansel teases Neural, jokingly banishing him now that she and Jiwoo have found common ground. Neural. What are you talking about? You two can just talk one-on-one. You're being ridiculous, you jerk. Neural fires back with faux outrage, playing along with the banter. Jiwoo. Hey, why are you calling Hansel a jerk? Jiwoo instantly jumps to Hansel's defense, showing the rapid shift in their dynamic. Neural. Fine, it's all my fault. My bad. Yup, my bad. Neural mockingly surrenders, content to take the blame since the dangerous tension has dissolved. Jiwoo. That's right, it's your fault. Jiwoo playfully agrees, cementing the new playful unity between her and Hansel. Neural internal monologue. Watching these pretty girls be all cutesy together is like a teen drama. What would happen if these two really did get closer? By then, it probably wouldn't seem strange even if I left. So what would happen to me then? I'd just go back to how things were before, alone, working hard on my grades, studying English, and preparing for a job. Going to class gatherings and playing the clown for a bit. And then being alone again. Just a few months ago, living like that didn't bother me at all. So why does the thought of going back to that feel so hopeless now? This feeling, like I can never live like I used to again. Neural experiences a bittersweet realization. By successfully fixing their friendship, he foresees a future where they won't need him anymore. He realizes he has become so attached to this warmth that returning to his old, lonely routine feels completely devastating. Jiwoo. Neural, are you okay? Jiwoo snaps him out of his deep, sudden melancholy. Neural. Yeah, of course I'm okay. Neural puts his mask back on, hiding his inner vulnerability. Neural internal monologue now seems like the perfect time, a chance to go back to normal. Seeing the lighthearted atmosphere fully restored, Neural recognizes this peaceful moment as the ideal reset point for their friendships, allowing him to step back into his usual comfortable role. Neural sits at a round yellow table, hands behind his head, staring at the ceiling. Nearby, Lee Jiwoo, her distinctive pink hair framing a wide laugh, shares a lighthearted moment with Hansel. A single plate with 3 remaining slices of pepperoni pizza sits between them, next to half-filled red cans of Coca-Cola. Neural, I've been through all sorts of emotional struggles during this time, but it's also true that I had fun hanging out with pretty girls. I was conscious of what people would think, but on the other hand, I also felt a sense of superiority. Those were good times. Neural lowers his arms, looking down at his plate. I learned that pretty girls don't just see me as vermin and avoid me. I learned that we could be friends, at least for a little while. He looks up, his freckled face blank, watching Jiwoo and Hunsu chat. In the future, if someone frowns after looking at my face, I think I can just recall this time. That's enough. This is perfect. Newell's fingers tighten around his fork, tapping it gently against the table's edge. Thump. The fork slips from his hand and clatters onto the floor. Both girls stop talking, turning their eyes toward him. If I spend any more time with them, I might mistakenly think that my appearance isn't the problem. Maybe I'm not that ugly after all, is what I might think. Then, when Jiwoo and Hunsu eventually leave me, as is the natural course of things, the damage from my once inflated self-esteem coming crashing down will be significant. But if I quit now, that won't happen. I'm not being abandoned by Jiwoo and Hunsu, I'm the one who is leaving. That way, I don't have to get hurt. Jiwoo breaks the silence, leaning forward with an energetic smile. Lee Jiwoo, Neural, are you studying this week? Let's go to an escape room. I really want to try one. Neural doesn't look up from the floor where his fork landed. Neural, no, you two go. His internal monologue, I have to get used to being alone again. Jiwoo's smile fades into a look of confusion. Hunsu pauses, a cup halfway to her lips. Lee Jiwoo, why? Neural then replies, I'm going to be farming. Hunsu sets her cup down heavily, her brow furrowing in irritation. Hunsu, what bullshit is that? Neural, hey now, watch your language. Neural crosses his arms, leaning back with a defensive, casual shrug. There's this farming game I play, see? It's called Happy Farm Farm. Anyway, I'm going to be playing that all day this weekend. Jiwoo and Hunsu look at each other, entirely speechless. Hunsu sighs, turning her head away. Hunsu, you look relieved that we can hang out just the two of us, so you can sit this one out. Neural, what are you talking about? I said I'm playing a game. Hansu shoots him a sharp, cold glance. Neural looks away, picking up a fresh slice of pizza and taking a bite. Neural internal monologue. You're doing well, just keep this up. Holding up at home to play games is a common thing for guys to do. It's not like we're a couple, we're just friends. It's fine if we can't hang out together on the weekend. There was no reason to feel sorry. The room is dim, lit only by the glowing monitor of a desktop computer. On the screen, a digital avatar tends to rows of pixelated crops. Neural sits heavily in his gaming chair, a half-eaten hot dog on a stick held loosely in one hand. Neural, cauliflower has good cost performance, so I'll grow 40 of these. It takes 12 days for them to fully grow, so I can run 2 cycles. He stares blankly at the screen, chewing slowly. Should I clear the quest to deliver sardines first? He glances at the digital clock in the corner of his monitor, 3 p.m. I guess I've been playing for 6 hours straight. It's a comfort I haven't felt in a long time. Girls, schmirls, hanging out with pretty girls was fun, but at the same time, I was on edge every single moment. When I'm cooped up in my room alone like this, there's nothing to worry about. Gaming is the best. He clicks his mouse rhythmically. Click, click. The reflection of the virtual farm glows in his wide eyes. As expected, everyone has a life that suits them. Leave the acting cool next to pretty girls to the handsome guys. This is the right way for me to live. Nothing is more valuable than this comfort. This is the life. The monitor light flickers. His hand rests still on the mouse. Now, what to do next? Buzz. On the desk beside his keyboard, his smartphone lights up, vibrating sharply against the wood. Neural blinks, reaching out to touch the screen. A messaging app opens. A new message from Jiwoo pops up, accompanied by a photo. In the picture, Jiwoo is winking energetically, holding up a wooden sign that reads, "Escape successful," in bold text, while Hansu stands next to her, looking exhausted but present. Jiwoo text, "Yo, the escape room was super fun, let's go together next time. We're going for drinks now, wanna join?" Neural stares at the screen, his thumb hovering over the virtual keyboard. Maybe it's okay to just have a drink with them in the evening. He freezes, his thumb stopping just a millimeter above the glass. He shakes his head quickly, pulling his hand back. No, I have to spend this weekend entirely by myself. He taps out a rapid reply, his fingers flying across the screen. Neural text, "Nah, I have to gather iridium and upgrade my gear." He hits send and sets the phone face down. His internal monologue, "I feel like that's the only way it'll feel like I've truly returned to my solitary life. They're probably drinking together right about now. What would it have been like if I had joined them?" He rests his chin on his hand, looking back at the virtual rows of cauliflower. "Should I just turn this off and go to sleep? Looks like they haven't completely forgotten me. That would have been a little sad." Buzz. The phone vibrates again. He flips it over. The screen displays an incoming voice call from Hansu. Newell's eyes widen in surprise. He slides the green icon to answer, bringing the phone to his ear. Neural. "Oh, you guys having fun?" Instead of a rowdy bar backdrop, a frantic voice cuts through the speaker, high-pitched and completely panicked. Hansu over phone. "Hey, is it right to buy seeds from the general store?" Neural pulls the phone away slightly, staring at it in utter disbelief. Neural. "What?" Hansu over phone. "It says to buy seeds and plant them, but I can't purchase them." Jiwoo's voice echoes loudly in the background, overriding Hansu's. Jiwoo. Neural. "This damn crow took my parsnip." Neural sits up straight in his chair, his jaw dropping as he realizes what is happening. Neural. "Are you two playing Happy Farm right now? Not drinking?" Hansu over phone. "Oh man, what are you gonna do? You're screwed." Neural over phone. "Screwed? I'm screwed." Hansu. "I'm screwed. Hey, what do I do then? Start over. I worked so hard to grow that." A slow, unexpected smile spreads across Newell's face. The heavy, defensive wall he built around himself all afternoon begins to crack. He leans into the phone, his voice dropping into a relaxed, confident tone. No, don't start over, just make a scarecrow." Hansu over phone. "A scarecrow? There's something like that." Neural. "If you have that, the crows can't take your crops." He lets out a quiet, soft chuckle, looking at his monitor where his own massive, solitary farmhouse stands. "I have a feeling things aren't quite going according to my plan." After that, Neural going to the PC cafe where Jiwoo and Hansu playing a game. Jiwoo and Hansu are sitting side by side in front of their own glowing monitors, headsets resting around their necks. Jiwoo. "Wow, how many nets have you set up?" Hansu. "It must be a lot of work to click all these." Jiwoo. "Look at how big the house is." Hansu. "But the interior design is so shabby." Jiwoo. "What does he know about interior design?" Neural. "Hey, you two, back up a bit." Jiwoo and Hansu share a quick, mischievous glance, laughing quietly. His internal monologue, what a luxury this is. Two pretty girls are right next to me, talking about the game I love. Is this really a luxury? I was clearly playing this game to be alone, but, because of the game, I can't be alone. On the girls' screens, Newell's high-level avatar enters their lower-level farm plots, immediately dropping resources to help them rebuild. Jiwoo, check out my farm too. Neural internal monologue, I wonder how things ended up this way, and yet, this game is just, I'm glad and happy that Jiwoo and Hunsu sought me out first. Neural squinting at the screen, notices the layout of Jiwoo's farmhouse. Neural, you're playing like trash. Jiwoo, like trash. Neil replies, no, like a trash. It's just like you. What are you even saying? Hunsu, oh Jiwoo, you're married to an NPC. Lee Jiwoo, yeah, because he's the prettiest. Come to think of it, Neural doesn't seem to be married. Hunsu clicks through Newell's character profile, her eyes widening at the stats window. Hunsu, you maxed out the affection of all the NPCs. His affection is maxed out, you're crazy. Jiwoo, whoa, really, but why aren't you married? Neural stares at the screen, the question hanging in the air. Neural internal monologue, that's right, why didn't I get married? I definitely thought there was no benefit to marrying an NPC. There was nothing to lose, so I could have done it for fun. But I still didn't. He looks at the maximum affection bars next to every digital townsperson, none of them chosen. He wants to do something similar in the game because he can't do it in real life. I felt like others would laugh at me if they saw this. Even though no one would see it. Newell's hand grips the mouse tightly, his fingers moving with a newfound, frantic energy as he coordinates his movements with theirs. The quiet room is filled with the rapid sound of clicking and the chaotic. Neural internal monologue, I felt like a fool who desires what he cannot have. Sitting here, staring at this empty screen, I realized I didn't even want to draw a picture of it even in a game. Pursuing an unachievable desire was simply too shameful for me. So I pretended that I didn't have such a desire at all, hiding it even from myself, desperately pretending that it didn't exist. Wanting to be handsome, wanting to be loved, wanting to be popular, all these are, in fact, natural desires, but... Jiwoo suddenly breaks the quiet, leaning over his desk with a bright, wide smile. Jiwoo, let's play Happy Farm for about 3 more hours, and then let's eat dinner together. Newell's eyes drop to the floor, the weight in his chest feels heavier. Neural internal monologue, the reason why they would want to be friends with me, even though I'm ugly, isn't it because of my desperate pretense of not having those desires? Neural abruptly pushes his chair back, standing up from the desk. Neural, I'm not playing Happy Farm anymore. Jiwoo, huh? Why? Neural, I'm sick of it. There's no higher place for me to go. I must descend the mountain. Jiwoo stops spinning her pen, her forehead creasing with an annoyed frown. What the you got us addicted and now you're just gonna quit? Neural, thanks to me, you've gotten to know a good piece of content. You guys are experts now, so you have nothing to ask me, right? Good luck. The professor stands at the front of a crowded classroom, pointing angrily at a student sitting a few rows behind Neural. The student, Kong Byungjun, is completely hunched over his smartphone, his thumbs moving at lightning speed. On his screen, a hyper-detailed illustration of a giant, muscular cartoon farmer sparkles with digital light. Professor, Kong Byungjun, what are you doing right now? Byungjun flinches violently, almost dropping his phone. A cold sweat breaks out on his face. Kong Byungjun, why yes, I'm planting blueberry seeds. The professor pinches the bridge of his nose, letting out a massive, exhausted sigh. Professor, do you want to sow seeds on your GPA, too? That's all for today's lecture, so don't forget to submit your reports by next week. The bell rings, and students begin packing their bags. Byungjun leans over to his classmate, completely unfazed, whispering with a smug smile. Classmate, I'm planting blueberry seeds. Kong Byungjun, ah, shut up. Neural asking them, oh, that's right. Do you guys play Happy Farm, too? Jiwoo and Hunsu turn their heads slowly, their expressions turning completely blank and unimpressed. Hunsu, we don't play it anymore. Neural, why? Neural, who is packing his backpack a few rows away, freezes instantly, shooting a sharp glance over his shoulder. Lee Jiwoo, we've reached the highest level. We're going to descend the mountain. Newell's eyes widen as a cold sweat drips down his temple. Neural internal, the words I said. Jiwoo walks up the steps toward Newell's desk, cornering him with an intense, knowing stare. Lee Jiwoo, Neural, you don't have any classes now, no academic society meetings, all your assignments are done, and you're not playing Happy Farm, right? Neural, huh? Right. Lee Jiwoo, then let's go eat malatang. Jiwoo turns her head to Hunsu, waving casually, and saying I'll go down first. Hunsu, okay. Oh, want to go? Let's go. Neural, weren't you trying to get away from us? Neural, what are you talking about? Hunsu, even though Jiwoo seems simple, she's very quick-witted. Hunsu walks past his desk, her face serious and unreadable as she heads for the door. Come out. I'll be in front of the classroom. Neural follows a few paces behind her, keeping his eyes glued to the floor. Neural internal monologue. I can assume that Hunsu knows what I'm thinking because she knows me so well, but how much has Jiwoo figured out? I don't know what to do anymore. They both figured out that I was trying to keep my distance like a ghost. If I make another excuse, they'll be 100% sure that I'm trying to leave the group. So should we just keep hanging out, the three of us? The biggest problem is that I still can't bring myself to make the possibility with Jiwoo a zero. I've done everything I can, so what on earth should I do now? I wish Jiwoo had a great boyfriend that would be too difficult for me to even approach. Maybe that's not impossible. The orange glow of the streetlights illuminates the pavement. Junkie stands near the crosswalk, waving a neat, stylish goodbye as he turns a corner. Junkie Neural, get home safe. Hansel, you too. Neural, oh, you too. Neural drops his hand, his expression turning gloomy as he watches Junkie's perfectly coordinated outfit vanish into the darkness. Neural internal, he's cool. Hunsu crosses her arms, turning a sharp eye toward Jiwoo, who is walking slightly ahead, looking at her phone. Hunsu, why did you call Junkie? Neural internal monologue. I wish Hunsu would show that she dislikes him. Neural, we were texting, and he asked what I was doing for dinner, so I told him I was eating with you too, so he said he'd come too. Neural internal. I wish she'd say she was uncomfortable because Junkie was there. That it wasn't fun. I wish she'd say it was better just with the three of us. Hunsu Neural internal monologue. But, of course, I know that's not the case. Hunsu stops walking entirely, turning a steady, piercing gaze directly onto Neural. Hunsu, didn't you notice too? Neural stops, his heart jumping into his throat. Neural, notice, what? Hunsu, that Jiwoo feels uncomfortable with Junkie. Neul's eyes widen, his entire face flushing in the dark. Neural internal monologue. In fact, I somewhat knew. Jiwoo doesn't laugh much at what Junkie says, and she gives a polite laugh and changes the subject. If it were another guy, not Junkie, I would have concluded that Jiwoo wants to keep her distance from him. But the person is Junkie. Junkie is already a score of over 80 points just with his looks. There's no way she'd dislike him, as the top scoring guy likes her. So I took an exceptional interpretation of Jiwoo's signal. But the moment I heard Hunsu's words, Jiwoo's reaction wasn't exceptional after all, the certainty that Jiwoo is uncomfortable with Junkie. Neul's lips twitch into a tiny, hidden smile, fills me with excitement. Neural, I did have that though, but I wasn't sure. I thought I might have been mistaken. Hunsu, no, it's not that. It's just obvious. Jiwoo isn't interested in Junkie, but Junkie seems to be trying to get too close. Neural, yeah, but Junkie is a good guy. Hunsu, right, he is. He's a good guy, but next time you call Junkie, I'd like it if you ask Jiwoo if it's okay first. Internal University study room. Next day, Jiwoo slams her heavy test prep book onto the table, hiding her face in her hands in theatrical despair. Lee, Jiwoo, can we prepare for the pop quiz together? I don't know anything. Hunsu, let's do it together. Han, Neural will teach us like a top instructor. Neural glances up from his laptop screen, a small smirk crossing his face. Neural, if that's the case, shouldn't you guys pay me tuition? Neural clears his throat, shifting his weight nervously in his plastic chair. Neural, is calling Junkie a bit much? His internal monologue. Junkie hasn't done anything wrong to me. I feel petty and shabby for getting pleasure from something like this. Neural, aren't you two being too obvious? Hunsu leans her chin on her hand, staring directly at Neural with a deadpan expression. Hunsu, ha. Ha, ha, we haven't said anything yet. It's not that I dislike Junkie. It's just that, he's a bit awkward to look at, so. Neural, I think you guys are too quick to judge Junkie based on just one side of him. Junkie is a really good guy. You just don't know him well enough, if you hang out with him more often. Jiwoo drops her hands from her face. Her expression goes entirely still, her eyes locked dead on his face. Jiwoo, hey, are you doing this because you want to set Junkie and me up? Neul's breath catches in his throat. He stares back at her, unable to move. Neural internal monologue. It's a good thing if Jiwoo thinks that's my intention, because the chances of her realizing I like her are smaller. He looks down at his notebook, his voice dropping to a whisper. Jiwoo, but I'm a little confused by it all now. Neural internal monologue. It's true that it would be good for Jiwoo and Junkie to be together, or at least, that is what I kept telling myself to justify my own cowardice. But I don't want Jiwoo to genuinely like Junkie. She doesn't have that much interest in Junkie anyway. I didn't want that. Jiwoo, did you promise Junkie that you'd help him get together with me or something like that? Neural, no, well, just his internal monologue. Whether I wanted Jiwoo and Junkie to be together or not, they couldn't be together anyway. Neural, I said I'd call him if there was a chance to meet up. Something like that. Neural gazes over at the corner couch. Lying flat on his back with his hands resting casually behind his head is Junkie, dressed in a crisp light-colored button-up shirt. He looks remarkably relaxed, yet his expression carries a subtle melancholy. Junkie, oh, Neural, he says, how come you're the only one here? Neural steps further into the room, adjusting his bag. Junkie, I know, right, no one else was here when I walked in. Neural stops, observing the slight strain in the handsome boy's face. Neural, are you feeling okay? Your voice, it sounds a bit off. Junkie looks up at the ceiling, letting out a soft, dry laugh. Junkie, yeah, well, you know, I don't think Jiwoo likes me very much. The words hang heavily in the quiet air of the club room. Neural stares at him, completely struck by the tone. Neural internal monologue, I can hear the hurt in Junkie's voice. Junkie genuinely likes Jiwoo. Junkie rolls his head slightly over the edge of the couch cushion, offering a small, weak smile filled with sincere regret. Junkie, you went through a lot of trouble trying to set us up, I'm sorry. Neural internal monologue, my heart feels a sharp pang. Even after hearing it so many times from others, I never thought Junkie genuinely liked Jiwoo. Junkie pushes himself up into a sitting position, holding his smartphone loosely in one hand as he tries to brighten his own mood. You know, I'm really thankful, right? Neural internal monologue, I guess I thought a handsome person would never genuinely like someone and get hurt. I thought only ugly people genuinely fell in love and got hurt. Junkie stands up, stretching his arms casually before checking his calendar screen. Junkie, when are you free? Today, tomorrow. Neural looks down at his own sneakers on the linoleum floor, completely overwhelmed by a wave of profound guilt. His internal monologue, I feel like I've done a great wrong to Junkie. I treated his real emotions like a game piece to protect my own ego. Neural, let's eat tomorrow.